Can I go back to full health?
Oh yes,
Yes.
everyone is full health.
Yay!
Let's see. I'm also going to move all your people to the characters page tab. That is. Wave. Name pending. 5s. You pronounce it Gerrit or Gerrit or
It's
how's that pronounced?
It's pronounced Gerrit or Gerrit. I think it's Gerrit is how it's pronounced.
Gerrit.
Yes. It means like good with a spear in Dutch.
Do you use a spear?
Nope.
Mine's an ocean term.
What does it mean though?
In Dutch.
It's not in Dutch.
I was looking through because I at some point I hit the like wanting to have a Von in my name, and I was like, okay, Von's like a Dutch thing, so I'll just like look through and like kind of figure this out as I go. I was like, okay, I can do Von Annis, and it'll be like, yeah, it's like the Annis Hag heritage. That's awesome. I was looking through Dutch names. I was like, oh, this one has like a deep meaning and stuff, but it just sounds like shit when you say it out loud.
Oh, I feel that.
You know, let's forget all of that and just find one that sounds good.
Like, listen, like, coming up with names for my wife and child was really difficult. Looking through like ocean terms and like names for different animals, I was like looking through names for different corals, and I was like, yes. Crinkled brain coral. Yeah, that's a good name to go with.
Is your
Also-
last name Brain Coral?
No.
If
We have,
that
like,
isn't a mood right there, though, what are you doing? Looking up strange foreign names for ocean coral? I'm making a D&D character. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Do we have a good chat channel for just like posting random bullshit that doesn't have anything necessarily to do with the campaign?
We will in a couple seconds.
Okay. I have memes
Random
to
bullshit.
It is there.
post.
I
Thank
need
you.
a channel for my character. So I can post things that I can remember.
Wave is golf in Dutch. I knew it would be something weird. I fucking knew it.
Why is it gone?
I am Dutch. Isn't that weird?
Why? It doesn't make any sense.
But in all seriousness, if people are interested in having like individual character channels just to like basically like the character creation tab, but somewhere where it won't get lost with side topics and tangents where you can just talk about your character and plans, I'm totally down to make those if those would be useful for you.
I think I'm okay right now, but up to y'all.
I'm gonna deck mine out with fan art and musical rendering, theme music.
And one-liners.
Let's see it. I'm gonna hold you to that. It's there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna add some theme music real quick. Where is he? Okay. Oh, first I need to find the picture.
Oh, Robert is here. I did not
Yes, I'm
notice
here.
when you joined.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello. Welcome to the party.
Who is that?
Some stranger.
I knew it.
So, couple sort of pre-start questions and concepts and conversation. First of all, who already has some sort of in-character connection planned out with someone else here? If anyone.
Me.
Yeah. I know, like, me and Colin have a specific having met up point, where basically in one of the towns as we were both traveling around, our characters met up and mine tried to fight his over and over again, but couldn't beat him. We just kept coming up evenly matched, and it pissed Hack off a whole lot, but was also interesting, so they started hanging out.
All right. Anyone else have anything? It is okay if not. Just checking to see what's already there.
I can find my
Nothing
notepad.
pre-established, but Ryan, is your character still a investigator?
No, I'm an alchemist now, actually.
Okay, great. Then I probably wouldn't have. Well, I might have if you've done something bad and illegal.
I mean, it could be pretty likely that, like, your character, like, was investigating something that my character was up to at some point, but ended up coming over to, like, being buds for whatever reason, because plot armor. Because my character has a tendency of, like, going out into the streets at night and brawling with people.
Well, I was more into the, like, really bad stuff, so maybe not.
I've got some connections with both Robert and Ryan's character. With Ryan's character, that kind of like aforementioned, like, your alter ego's name is Hutch, right? Or Hatch?
Hack.
Hutch? Hack. Got it. Hack. Makes sense. And then the Hack being like using Wave as like a training partner, kind of sparring partner kind of situation, but also just like the kind of like dual paths of Wave being a monk, and a lot of the like monk leveling up features being towards like path to the perfect form and like perfect humanoid form kind of stuff that lines up well with like Ryan's characters like trying to scientifically create the perfect humanoid form. So it's kind of like which one's gonna get there first: One Punch Man doing push-ups or Science Man
doing science.
The perfection of the self through self-discipline versus through application of science.
Yeah. Also, I have a lot of like useful, like Science Man would be incredibly useful to kind of my character plans of like making a habitable place for my people to stay, which would be like potentially like heating up some kind of like lake or who knows what kind of things. Also, I think there's some stuff about maybe helping me out with some crafting ideas that I need done relatively early on.
I know that I've got fairly decent ties thematically with like Robert's character and Colin's character. I've got both of my like disposition against like people using magic to modify themselves, where both of them have been created at least somewhat by like the race that they are now is a result of magic tampering, as opposed to just like straight technology, which also like is a potential tie-in with what I've heard about Tevin's character with the anti-magic sentiment of like my character. One of his big goals is like anything that you can do with magic I can do with science eventually.
And then my connections with Robert's character are mostly around the fact that like Wave would call Robert's character as like recently breathless being like a term for people who or subjected to like the like enslavement of their people kind of situation that he was under, which also describes like, although not in any time in recent history, like the Azarketi race was originally one that was dominated by the Aboleth creatures and like mind enslaved by them. And so there's a huge like one of his big convictions as a character is that like slavery is the worst kind of sin that you could commit. And Robert's character being a like refugee from that kind of situation is like a really big sticking point of like character connection. Also, I mentioned to you, Robert, about the idea of maybe having our characters having like recently done some like work together at all? Was that something that you ended up deciding on one way or another? I didn't write anything into my backstory about it.
I think mostly those connections will probably play out like very closely in the beginning of the campaign. I think I basically get deposited on the edge of the hell's Bravoy, and I make my way to following the rumors. Kind of.
And then other than that, like I just have like a generic kind of line in my backstory that like because we're trying to do the four amigos, like make sure everybody has like positive connections with everybody, that like some generic line about these three companions kind of being important companions to me, that we've kind of maybe been through some shit to the point where we're at right now, that that although I wouldn't necessarily give up my purpose or my life, but these guys would be the closest people that I would be willing to give my life for, kind of situation.
Yeah.
A couple other quick questions. Colin, I understand yours already. Ryan,
Yes.
we'll start with you.
Yes.
Your character is a smart, talented person who could make a good living just living a peaceful life in Restov. Why are you doing this?
One of the big like drives for my character is, or part of it is that he has a lot of trouble staying in a particular area for very long, either because he's getting in trouble with his alter ego, or because people are finding out, especially since he started developing the claws, people finding out that he's a changeling and not being a big fan of that. He also, I think, has generally found that the best research happens on the road, when like you can have practical applications, and dock workers only put up a fight for so long before they like kind of stop being good experimentation fodder. So anything that he's trying to do and like experimenting on himself to beef himself up and like be better at the things that he's trying to perfect, he has to go out and seek out bigger and better challenges and any new information that he can get research wise.
Who would like to go next?
I have a brief question. Is there a way to upload an image to your character sheet that isn't going to be immediately used for your avatar? Full-length person?
I just used mine as my character image for my actual Roll20 profile.
That's what I did too.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to drag you onto the start menu. Oh, you're already there. I'm going to set this one as your default token. Save that. Now, if you change your avatar, you should see like on the right side, it's the full bar, like the full picture, but the token itself remains the circle. That should do it for you.
Thanks. Also, I told some people, but I have character art being commissioned for this character.
Oh, cool.
And part of that process is kind of like giving a general description to them and then having them kind of do a lot of the work for creating the character. So I don't necessarily know all the features of how my character is going to look or appear. I have like some information, but like the image that I'm using is similar like styling, but like is going to be a placeholder image. It will eventually be replaced.
If you don't have this, that is okay. But do you have a very broad terms? Do you have a rough size, color, things like that? Okay. What are those? If you are willing to share.
Yeah, sure. My character is like almost to a T your like standard like Olympic water polo player size, which is like in comparison to like a normal swimmer, they're taller and more physically built. So he's 6'4" and 212 pounds. He is 18 strength, so he's very like upper body, physically built. He, as far as like clothing and stuff, I don't necessarily have like a great idea, other than just like probably some kind of like shorts and shirtless kind of situation. He's a monk, so he's going to be using like I use a staff to attack people, but also kicks and punches and stuff like that. And specifically, fish people. That's kind of important. He's an Azarketi, which are like mostly humans, but they have gills. He has gills on his neck, and some small like webbing around his hands and feet. And then a very humanoid face, but purple eyes, which is like an Azarketi staple from when they were originally taken over by the Aboleths. And he's thematically designed around the idea of a anglerfish. So he's one of the like deep sea Azarketi that live at the bottom of the ocean, and so he's got like these bioluminescent spots that he can like light up and turn off, and like lure that comes off the top of his head with like a dropper light bulb kind of situation at the end of it that he can light, as part of his like racial features.
Awesome. I cannot wait to see what the commission looks like.
Yeah, that's gonna
Me
be sick.
too. I'm really excited also.
All right, so I know this intro is sort of bouncing around a bit, but
Totally fine.
so as far a couple things still to go through is just the visual description. You walk in a room, what do people see? For everyone else, as well as for Robert and for Tevin and Colin, I don't know if everyone knows your plan or not, so that is your option. For why you're risking your life to go out on this expedition rather than just living the life of a basic common person.
Okay. So is that me? Can I go? Or
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool. So if you go to my channel, I have my theme music out there, so feel free to put that on while I give my description to help set the mood.
Perfect,
All right,
will do.
All right. Let's
Anyway, so my character was an investigation for obviously magical crimes, and after working there multiple times, solving many crimes, he has realized that nothing is changing. Solving it after it happens does nothing.
This is
So
ominous.
he has decided that he is going to reform magic and regulate it. So his purpose of going on this adventure is to document his travels with various magic users and encounters, to write a tell-all book on why magic needs to be regulated, and he's also going to be gaining influence with other political leaders that he runs into to try and form a governmental body that makes mages have to register themselves, and kind of like, you know, lawyers of today and doctors and all that stuff, so that they can be held accountable for their magic if it's misused.
All right. One other thing that your character specifically would know, just given your background and reasons. So it was, believe it was mentioned up in the read first guide forever ago. But the area that the four of you are going into of the Stolen Lands, there's a lot of rumors of a man known as the Stag Lord who allegedly rules this area. Everyone knows that bit, but one thing that your character has also heard is that there is another man by the name of Dovin. He is wanted in many cities across Brevoy for the practice of blood magic. This is an absolute atrocity.
Okay, what was his name?
I will type it in chat to have the spelling, but Dovin.
Okay.
God damn it.
I was
Never
wrong.
miss.
But his practice of blood magic, in addition to having numerous victims killed in these ritual sacrifices, the performance of this not only kills the body, but also harms the soul, tormenting them into the afterlife. He's the kind of person that is on your to-get list. He is is the kind of person that you've been looking after. And you've heard that over about 6 months ago, from what your rumors have told you, he fled down into the Stolen Lands, this exact area, and with his power, he could likely find a position with the Stag Lord.
Okay, well then, yeah, that would be my second reason for going on this adventure. It's twofold.
Perfect. Also, just visually, what does your character look like, or is the artwork of them?
The artwork
Like,
is
it's just
exactly
what
what
they
I'm
look
going to
like.
be rolling with.
All
I
right.
have also hired a commission that will be making fan art.
Nice.
Do you have a rough build idea as far as like height, weight?
Height. What would you say that looks like? 5'11", 6 foot. One.
Can't see his legs, so
170, 175. He's not really muscular. He's more of like lean.
Lean muscle build, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Robert,
Me?
would you like to share with the class?
No, I made a story. Okay. Kalat is his name. His last name technically is Ice Peak, but it's more of a designation where his creators essentially pulled him out of a vat and sculpted him into what he would then later become. That's Ice Peak 81, Sector 17, subsection 40, for anybody who cares. But the long and short of it is he's an android, and androids are basically property to the Technic League that exists in Numeria. And it took several decades. He's about 47, I think. That of just under this hardship before he was finally able to kind of break free from that. So ultimately, androids are built for a purpose. They serve that purpose, and technically just kind of destroys them if they don't do that thing. Every now and then, insurgencies can happen. That's typically what happens when you get a couple of these guys put together. And they're mostly just failures. And this one was going to be no different. They had a bit of an insurgency thing going on, which is kind of like where he drew most of his characteristics from, and trying to blend in as a human more than an android. So he's got a little bit of a boost towards not looking like him. He looks like himself, just a human version of himself. And his ultimate goal was to just break free. So this insurgency kind of got put to a quick rest once they were found, and was kind of going to be made of an example of. Most of his friends were killed, but some Tiger Lords who are basically wandering barbarian tribes in the area, maybe not always wandering, but this one was, were looking to basically cause trouble on a weakened set of their, which also turns out to be their oppressors, the technically. And in doing so, they fought back and killed them and were busy killing my people too. And then one of them was like, wait a minute. They were transporting these people instead of just like using them. Maybe they're worth something. Maybe they know something. We'll keep them. And so I was the only one left alive at that point, and they took me. Over time, I learned their language and basically gave them enough of their language to be like, "Hey, I'm not used to you guys. I don't have anything. Sorry, I don't have anything valuable. There's nothing important. They're going to make an example of me. I was fighting back." And they actually found that to be more important than the opposite of being useful. So like, we like you. We're gonna let you live, but we don't need you anymore. So where do you want to go? I was like, well, out of this country. And so they took me to the edge of Brevoy and basically deposited me over there, saying, "Hope to never see you again." And so I was like, "Yeah, I'll probably come back and avenge my dead friends and other androids in the area." Probably not. That's not going to happen. And when they deposited me there, I started hearing rumors of, well, Brevoy's actually sponsoring an expedition into the Stolen Lands, and there's a chance to make a kingdom. And kingdoms are kind of cool because they can harbor people. Perhaps your own race that is currently systematically under its own kind of slavery. So he's like, okay, that sounds cool, and you can potentially make something and that would like fight back the people who oppressed you your entire, you know. So that was his appeal, and so he shows up to this meeting place, and that's why he's on board.
So your character is relatively new to the other three. Am I following that
Ye-
bit right?
Yep.
For the other three of you, have all three of you been traveling for some time at this point? I know, Colin and Ryan, you said yes. Tevin, are you in that same group of
Join us.
been tight for a while?
I would say I would join them midway when I've heard of them, and that's when I got the idea for writing my book, and found out that they were going to the exact place I needed to find Dovin. So it just worked out. So I
Very
probably
true.
joined them midway.
So, like, acquaintances for a while, but then have eventually grown tighter as your journey has continued to here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then aesthetically
Ooh, wait.
for oh
Yeah, we gotta. What does Robert's character
oh
look
yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Robert,
Hi.
what does your character
Oh,
look
I thought
like?
you were. I thought he was just going to expand the token.
Oh,
He
I can do that.
Oh,
he is a magus, so he studies a dual discipline of both martial and magical prowess, and he basically spends almost all of his free time doing that. He tends to have a focus on being a little bit more camouflagey and sneaky, despite his build very much leaning towards strength, so that he could remain undetected in the desolate like icelands of Numeria. That being said, he's about 6 feet tall and 193 pounds. But his magics tend to focus on stuff like illusions and a little bit of combat prowess, but mostly like things that you can do to keep a small group of people alive for a little bit longer.
You had mentioned last night when we were talking that like your typical android build isn't usually strength focused. So are you do you consider yourself like different or weird in comparison to the other androids, or is it just you are who you are and that is how it be?
He's slightly increased in mass from a typical android. There's other androids that definitely resemble his same like size and shape, like mass wise, due to them building laborer based androids. He isn't one of those though. He just happened to be a little bit more successful in the being sculpted, and then the magus training kind of infused the rest of what was lacking there. That being said, in order to deal with those studies, he did have to give up on the idea of being a super dexterous, nimble person. He's retained a little bit of it, but doesn't have supernatural feats in that category.
Ryan, you were saying something?
my character, as far as aesthetics go, he is I think I had it written down as like he's like 5'8", 5'9", and then well, when he kind of switches with hack, he bulks himself up and fixes his posture so that he stands a lot more straight up. You do see some tattoos on his neck kind of peeking out. And as far as like clothing, I've got a couple pictures. He's got he usually wears a vest with a white shirt that's a little bit bigger on him. He's bulkier than you would expect from like your typical sort of alchemist type. But as an example of the kind of outfits that he would normally wear, there's that one. And if I can copy this image correctly, and then he has a coat that he'll wear specifically when he's like working in the lab and needs to prevent things from splashing on him. He also does have a usually it'll be in the form similar to this picture. It'll be in the form of a snake or something similar. I have a token that's kind of a placeholder that's one of these guys. I just posted in the Discord because he's got an alchemical familiar that hangs out on him most of the time. It's mostly kind of a lab buddy. He actually uses it to help create some of the concoctions that he needs. It actually secretes the things that he uses in his alchemy. some of the alchemical reagents that he uses in his daily preparations. And then it will help him, like, it's trained to like grab potions and stuff off of his belt and pass them off to him. And then he messes with the form. It's pretty mutable, and it's made mostly out of excess body fat that he's extracted from himself, as well as blood and a little bit of alchemical spark to keep it moving around. And its name is Adipose.
Which is an adorable name.
Other notable things, he does wear the circular glasses to keep people from seeing that he has one brown eye and then the other eye is like a sickly green due to his changeling status. And he, on his right hand, all of his fingernails are black and kind of thick, and he habitually irons them or like whittles them down. But when he does it, he uses like whetstones and sharpening stones, and it sounds like he's working iron because they are literally iron, and they grow back whenever he switches out with hack, which is incredibly annoying for him. Because it's a kind of a dead giveaway that he's a changeling and kind of going down the hag route. People don't really like people who have huge cold steel claws on their hand.
It is awkward at parties.
It really is.
Hey, can you pass me that juice?
All right. With that, is everyone ready to get rolling? I guess actually before we go, so I don't know if everyone is familiar. So Colin, do you wanna run through the gist of why you're going as well?
Yeah. I wrote up a backstory thing that I linked in chat too that people can go read more on if you ever are bored. Basically, lived at the bottom of the Castrovan Sea, which is the big sea just east of the area where we're adventuring in. It's like roughly United States sized. He lived at like the center bottom of that near some volcanic undersea vents in the warm water near a bunch of like volcanic rock caverns. Well, it turns out those caverns like lead down as a connection to the Underdark, which I don't remember the name for in Pathfinder. It's like the Darklands, which is like another like underground cavern dimension, filled with monsters and stuff. And he was born to the clan leader, and when he became of age, he took over as clan leader as his custom, and his dad retired to work on the council. He got married to Carnation, and they have a son named Silvertip. And about 2 years after the birth of his son, a monster came out of the caverns down deep underneath the volcano, and basically just like kicked out all of his people. And he managed to gather up all the different groups, which are called shoals. They're like little like communities of Azarketi that all live in the general same area, but aren't necessarily like all living together, just in the same region. And he tried to fight back against the monster, but they didn't succeed. And so after having a council with the elders, they decided that they were going to pick up and leave to go live somewhere else. But they needed somewhere warm to live, and most of the Castrovan Sea is like pretty cold. So they show up on land in the city of Mern Bay, which is in the area east of Brevoy, which is like a kind of there's some human settlements there, but they've been plagued by disease, and most of their cities are kind of in disrepair. Mern Bay is like one of the last good port cities. We tried to stay there for a while, but my people started catching a local disease that caused their like gills to salt and make it so that they couldn't breathe properly. So
Yikes.
people started dying to that. And so we're like, well, we got to get out of here. And so we cross over the mountains, Ice Spire Mountains, or Ice Rime Peaks. Sorry, Ice Rime Mountains. And a bunch of people die in the cold mountains. And then we arrive in Brevoy in the city of Rostov. And I've been living there with my people for the last 7 years. My wife is recently pregnant with a second child, a daughter. And I realized that this situation in Rostov and in Brevoy isn't working out. Like, we're basically back to being breathless again, of the fact that we have to work for these people that have higher political status in the city and more money, and these corporations that like take their money from us and just like pay us a pittance of a living. And it's basically equivalent to living underneath the obelisk again. And so he's like, well, we need to do something about this. And so he leaves his people behind and convinces them to stay in Brevoy, where at least it's relatively safe. And he's going to go adventure off into the stolen lands to build a new home for my people. And that's his like main purpose for going on an adventure, is to have a place for my family and my people to live. And some important things about his like flaws, bonds, convictions, and stuff is that his main goal is to, like I said, give his people a new place to live. He'll stop at no costs to get that done. Being breathless is being dead. Being under the control of someone else and some other entity is not acceptable. Payment for work and services is pretty much close to being breathless. He's learned some anti-capitalist ideas from living in Brevoy and being under that situation. And that the last one, which is very important to our party and our adventuring, is that because of my race, I must immerse myself in water once every 24 to 48 hours, or I will drown on the land.
Relevant.
So, why it's relatively important that we're all kind of like on the same page and working together, because otherwise, if we don't travel by like near enough to rivers and lakes while we're in the riverlands, I'll just die, and that would suck. So yeah, if we could do that, that'd be great.
That could be pretty tough at some point.
I was assured that it won't be too terribly tough for the most part.
It will definitely be playable.
Mm-hmm.
There are campaigns that it wouldn't be in. You will not feel
Welcome
like you
to
cannot play a
hell.
character because of this one.
So, like, immerse yourself in water. What does that mean? Like, could you, if
My
I
skin is-
created a pocket
ahead.
of water and just like threw it on your head, would that work?
Go ahead, Brian.
My interpretation of it is it would need to be enough water to get gills to function, which is like not just dunk your head in water, but like enough water to be moving around in to have water resistance with.
Yeah.
So like, I imagine if you think of like a hot tub, it would probably be uncomfortable, but that would be of enough size.
I see.
But like just a cooking pot, for instance, even if you can fit your head in it, does not count for this.
My skin is coated in like a hydrophobic sheen. And I do have like actual natural occurring gills that function as gills. So I have to kind of have that moving water situation, which
Eventually
fortunately
you'll run
the
out of
riverlands are
things.
just filled with tons of rivers and lakes and such. Which is
They
why
have the name for a reason.
actually possible. But it is something we'll have to consider as a group.
And that's
at
one of the
various
things
points.
that my character in our like initial interactions, my character was like, oh yeah, we can definitely make something work for you. Like we could probably like drawing up plans and just like kind of never getting to them quite yet, but
Also, it does come with a lot of benefits, like like some of the later like ancestry feats and stuff have to do with like sneaking underwater and pulling people underwater and drowning them underwater and stuff like that, and some other kind of cool stuff. I can like if I'm underneath the surface of water, I have cover against other people's attacks and stuff, and I can see and swim in water at high speeds and breathe underwater, so we can like use that for infiltration and attacks and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. But yeah, it's one of the reasons why our party kind of has to like have a good reason to stick together, because otherwise, yeah, it's not going to work out super well.
Let this one drown.
Also, just remind me of the actual mechanics of how it works. It's like there's a
Yeah.
minor penalty after a day, and then you die after 2. Is that right?
Yeah, let me pull it up while you're doing stuff. Whatever. Actually, I'm almost there. I guess I have it on my character sheet too. That's archetype. Okay. Hydration. While you are an amphibious being equally as capable on land as in water, your body requires you to be returned to aquatic environments in at least once in a 24-hour period. You must submerge in water in order to rehydrate your water-acclimated skin. If you fail to do this, your skin begins to crack and your gills become painful. After the first 24 hours outside of water, you take a -1 status penalty to fortitude saves. After 48 hours, you struggle to breathe air and begin to suffocate until returned to water. And suffocate is like a quick process where you die.
Yeah, you die at 48 hours. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Also, I have like a little bit of land legs situation going on. Like, doesn't quite line up with being here for 7 years. But for now, I have 20-foot move speed and 30-foot swim speed. Once I hit 3rd level in monk, that'll bump up to 30-foot move speed, 30-foot swim speed. But for now, I'm a little slow on my feet.
Walking
All
on
right.
land is hard.
Mood. So, to give a little bit more context as to what it is you are doing. So, as mentioned, you are coming from Brevoy. Brevoy is in a very tense situation. Brevoy is not one nation. It is 2 nations that a very powerful man with a very large sword declared as one nation, essentially.
That works for me.
It doesn't really work great for the long-term cooperation of that nation, however, as they are 2 very different cultures who have frequently fought with each other. There is a great deal of tension between the north of Brevoy, known as Isia, and the south, known as Rostland. Further to the south, in the Stolen Lands, it has been nothing but a source of pain for Restov and Brevoy as a whole. Part of the reason that they're sending out not only your group, but others as well, to try and pacify out these lands. On paper, it's just to make sure that the borders are safe. But in actuality, and this is something that is like one of those they don't say it, but everyone kind of knows it situations. It looks like there is a potential for the tensions to grow more severe. Whether it will reach the point of war isn't known by anyone, but it is definitely in the possibility for Brevoy of a civil war between the north and the south. And Restov and Rostland in the south have a much better chance of winning this war if their southern border is this new friendly neighboring kingdom than if it's a whole bunch of bandit raiders who will eagerly jump on the opportunity once they're distracted.
Mhm.
That makes sense?
Absolutely.
No, run that all
God,
by
that it
me
was a
again.
civil war.
I was taking too many
no,
notes. I missed like half.
It is not a civil war yet. It is just very tense, and some people think it might develop further into one.
The basic gist is that Brevoy is kind of split in 2, but not technically yet. And at the risk of a civil war, the southern part of Brevoy is like, hey, what if we just like send some adventuring parties to kind of make a new kingdom south of us so that we didn't have to deal with bandits there instead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's very much on paper. This is not Brevoy expanding land, because if Rostland declared that they were expanding, that would be considered a threat by Isia to the north.
Right.
That would provoke hostilities immediately.
These
You are
guys
an
are just-
independent, unaffiliated bunch that they are just tasking to try and help solve the bandit problem. They
Yeah.
are not expanding their borders. You are not their borders. You are not doing this on behalf of Restov. It is more of you're just an independent group that they are aiding.
Sure.
Yeah,
Totally.
We're kind of like the whole James Bond thing with the MI6. Like, if you're caught, we do not know you.
Mhm.
So it's not quite to that level, but that's the gist of it. They are. It is common knowledge that they are supplying you. Like, here's some equipment. Here's where
We're just
some of that
adventurers,
15 gold
man.
you started with came from. But it's just to help out their neighbor. It's not to help their own kingdom. You are not their kingdom.
Yeah. This flies pretty standardly. Actually, the place that my character is from, Ustalov, has, like, a long time ago was ruled by like a Lich King, and then they defeated the Lich King, but the Lich King had killed all the nobles. So everyone's like, I'm a noble, and now there's like 6 different like segments of the country that are all just in constant civil war.
Sounds about right.
And one of them is like still just the Lich King.
That's the story for Wrath of the Lich King.
But with that, you guys, as the group of the 4 of you, set off from the city of Restov. And I am going to move you map.
Map.
How do you pronounce you guys' names, just so I make sure I get it right?
Wave.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Mine is Gerrit.
Gerrit.
And I am Kalat.
Kalat. Okay.
And you're 5s, right?
5s. I have a character bio on my page now.
Hey.
Complete with investigation files and everything.
Love it. Okay, so I'm about to move your maps. I'm still the Roll20 went through a new redesign of their dynamic lighting, so I'm still sort of working it out a tiny bit. If you see this whole map, please look away and let me know.
Okay, I'm
Will
half
do.
looking.
Let me just get my screen capture ready.
Don't worry, it's on
I
screen.
see an entire black map.
Oh yeah, we
Black.
can see the whole black map, dude.
Scroll way to the right. At
I
the
found
top.
it.
Oh.
You should find some vision.
Ah, yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, a
This
cheeky
is
little
beautiful.
hex crawl going on
See some
here.
hex vision.
So, this is the Stolen Lands. At least a very, very small section of it that you have explored, because that's actually just the southern border of Brevoy. Restov is this one right here. This city. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Restov is like the biggest city in the south. It is the capital of Rostland, which is the southern half of Brevoy. That is where you have been sent from. Your instructions are simple. You follow the South Rostland Road, all the way to the east before it takes a turn north. And there is going to be an old border fort, known as Oleg's Trading Post. You are
I
to
have a
go there,
question.
and yes,
You said east. This looks like we're going west.
I agree. That
you're a
does look
crafty
bad.
one. You have passed the test.
Oh, good, good.
Your map-making navigation will go successfully.
Beautiful.
I did not
You
know
have
if it was
passed the first trial.
Everyone
Yes.
goes to level 2. No.
Yay!
The skill challenge has been defeated.
But yes, the road west. Thank you very much.
One hex is 12 miles. Okay.
I have no idea how overland travel works in this game.
I can help you out with that one.
Okay.
Also, I'm gonna be fully honest. I totally just bought that we were going east. I was like, that seems a really weird way to go. Like the map just ends.
Yeah, I was
and
like,
are we
I
about to
don't
shift again?
know. I was real surprised we were going east also.
But in terms of standard travel time across a easy traveling plains, or if there's like a road, even if it's more difficult terrain, it's about 6 hours per hex at your guys' speed.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it's about 8 hours per hex, but perhaps that will increase after someone gets their land legs.
You know,
Whoops.
we're
What
just
if we
gonna
just took the river instead?
get a big cart with a tub in it. We'll go throw them in there.
Though, this campaign basically begins after you've taken this journey. So you have already made your journey across the road. You have had about a week just to converse and travel with each other before you finally see up ahead, legs weary, body tired, sick of rations. You see the fort described to you. About 60 feet by 60 feet roughly, and a little over a 10-foot high wooden palisade goes around it. You can see some catapults up on each of the four corners, though they don't quite seem assembled. You see a few that are just clearly missing parts, and none of them seem to have the torsion ropes. The gate is currently open before you.
And what did you say was our goal of coming here? It was coming here to like receive what?
Oh, I forgot. I got sidetracked in the middle of that bit. This is basically intended to be your base of operations for your expeditions to the Stolen Land. And thank you for that, because that reminded me of one other thing I forgot to give you. You have the Restov Charter. This should have appeared on your guys' screen, did it?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. This is bestowed to each of you. I will give you a minute to read
the
through.
document.
I produced the document.
Am I muted? Yes, perfect. Be it known that the bearer of this charter has been charged by the Sword Lords of Restov, acting in the greater good authority vested within them by the office of the Regent of the Dragon-Scaled Throne. He has granted the right of
So they're not,
exploration
like,
and
doing
travel
anything
within
for
the
us, but also,
wilderness
like,
region.
they're just saying, you
Exploration
have
should be
the-
limited to an area
have
no
our
further
permission
than
to go in
36 miles east and west, 60
you have,
miles
you
south
have the
of
right
Oleg's
of
trading post.
exploration. They, among with just about every other nation that borders the Stolen Lands, have claimed it as their own land.
Put that up there.
They are saying, you are not trespassing on this land because we have given you the right to be there.
So the whole banditry equals execution thing. What does that actually mean?
Let
have
me
an
reread
idea of
that
that?
little section. That is basically saying, if you take our money and then flee into the Stolen Lands and use that as a base of operations to start raiding us, you are bandits and we will kill you.
Also,
okay,
gives us
cool.
permission to kill any bandits that we see.
It also does that. Now, yeah, that's the second half of it, is that this is the legal right of execution of bandits that you encounter.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that if we found some like random hut and stole some gold from it, we weren't gonna get hanged.
Okay.
They're definitely interested. Like, that is regarding themselves.
Okay,
They're not.
cool.
It's
Makes sense.
don't think of it as permission to rob anyone out there, so much as that's just not what this document is about.
Yes.
So if we
I
encounter bandits and rob them, we don't have permission to rob them. We do have permission to kill them.
No, is we don't have permission or non-permission to rob them. As long as we don't go back across the border and rob where we came from.
Yes. This is saying, to put it simply, if you cause problems for Brevoy, we will send people to kill you.
We're gonna say
Well, we
you're
expect
bandits
you to
and-
go beat up some people south of the border because they're all bandits. So deal with
Yes.
them.
So what if we run into other people from like Numeria and stuff, and they have their own writ of execution granting them the ability to be here, and then we kill them because they're bandits.
Per Brevoy, this land belongs to Brevoy. Anyone else is trespassing. Also, per Numeria, this land belongs to Numeria. Anyone else is trespassing. This is also true for every bordering nation.
Right.
Doesn't that create problems? Like,
It
we
has
killed people
many
from
times.
Numeria.
I think this may be the root of the problem, as a matter of fact. Like, I think this
We're
might...
here to solve that problem.
By telling everybody else that we are from Numeria or Brevoy.
Yes.
Exactly.
By as many people before us have probably done, walking in and saying Brevoy owns this land. But this time receiving no like pushback at all, and they just give it to us.
Yes. Let's start by asking the stag.
It's what the law says.
All right.
Yeah, the charter that you are given covers a little over 4,000 square miles of land, centered to the south
So
of
my
Oleg's.
character is an alchemist.
Oleg's is so yeah, and a tiny bit jumping back.
There's round
Oleg's is basically
glasses.
expected to be your base of operations for this. It used to be an old border fort, though it is no longer in use since there's no true civilized force on this front. According to Brevoy. And it is also the one line of trade for just about anything you can buy in Rostov can be brought on the same road that you just walked.
Okay.
No one really
Ah.
expects you to find established blacksmiths and armor makers and scroll writers out in the Stolen Lands.
That
This
was
is your
definitely
link.
a question that I had about this campaign, which is like, sweet. Well, we go in here, we make 100 gold. How are we supposed to spend that? Which the answer is, go back to Oleg's.
Mhm.
That's fair.
And Oleg's is a trading post. It's less less everything else and more of just a congregation of people around a small palisade.
All right. Well,
Well-
can you give me like 2 seconds, and I'll be
Sure.
right back.
Our party fights each other.
Oh no.
Kill them all.
Our party starts getting hungry for some fish.
Oh no. Specifically anglerfish. Never had one of them before.
Oh no. I don't even think they'd taste good.
Probably not. I can't imagine that would possibly taste good.
I'm sure if you put the right spices on it, you can get somewhere.
I mean, yeah, you could just eat the spices. It would probably be...
I'm gonna see if there's an anglerfish dish. There is.
Oh no.
Okay. Let me just post this in the chat.
That'll be great for Colin to come back to.
How to prepare anglerfish.
Avatar.
Red mist. We got a recipe
Oh.
for you.
A recipe?
How to prepare anglerfish.
Huh. Oh, kind of you.
I am refilling my drink, so I will still be another moment before I'm back.
No worries.
There you go, Colin. Just for
Hey,
you.
Wait, this is just sashimi. It's not like not even put with anything. It's just cut out and eaten like raw.
There you go.
That saves on your prep time immensely.
Oh, I fast forwarded about 22 minutes into this thing and I see him putting spices. Oh yeah, he's searing. Okay, it's a little different. It just says sashimi. Didn't actually mean it.
I mean, I was gonna say, I hope that if it's if all they're doing is cutting it and putting it on a plate, then like the video probably shouldn't be 20 minutes long.
It's 36 minutes long. Though to be fair, like 20 minutes in, he's still just cutting the fish.
It's a tricky fish to cut, I suppose.
Apparently.
I mean, as someone who personally has never just like taken a whole fish and cut up meat of it, I feel like I would appreciate like the 35-minute video of how to do this more so than the 4-minute video.
You know? Why didn't you turn my light on? Also, y'all might have your fancy commissioned character art, but I got a vest for this.
I put on
A hat.
And a cookie.
a hat.
Okay, I am back.
Welcome back.
So, as mentioned though, you at the end of about a week's long journey, you see the trading fort before you. The gates are wide open, and it's also about 130, 140 feet wide, not 60. I lied. It gets bigger as you approach.
That's much
Perspective
better.
and all that.
That's much better.
There's a very common theme in Waterdeep where things are larger on the inside than they appear on the outside.
I presume the four of you enter? You do not currently see anyone like on the walls or
Well.
anyone from outside.
Okay.
Certainly seems they've spared no expense in the Riverlands.
Did they give us any kind of like mention of like a contact that we would be meeting here, or?
You are told that it is Oleg's trading post, but that is about all you have.
Ah. So the catapults look in disrepair or disuse,
Yes.
and the fort is just wide open.
Well,
I walk in to find the owner.
wonder if any actual trading happens here.
I shall bring you to another map.
New map.
More maps.
It's a map. It's a map.
The dynamic lighting seems weird.
So you all
where am I?
have sight
Oh.
through everyone's character. The reason I do that is because I have had too many games that I have spent a 3-hour combat with literally a black screen because I'm shooting at someone from around a corner or something like that. So anything that anyone can see, everyone can see. Note that is purely an out-of-game thing, like you still in character need line of sight to shoot a guy and things like that. But I will let you as a player see what is going on so that you can hear more than just the words of
I
narration.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll walk in with 5s.
Yeah, I'm coming with.
But yes, you may move yourselves. Also, as you begin to approach further, you see a man, perhaps 45, 50 years old, standing up on a ladder and currently nailing shingles into what looks like a large shed. The hammer and nail makes a good amount of noise, and he doesn't seem to hear you stepping up.
I shout out, Oleg.
His hammer swing pauses, and he turns back. There's a brief look of surprise, and then just what looks like a wave of relief washes over him as he sets down the hammer and the nail still up on the roof and begins climbing down the ladder. You're here! Oh, thank the gods!
You were expecting people?
You're the guards from Restov, yes?
No.
Yes.
Immediately, just the elation drains from his face at your answer.
I nudge Gerrit and I'm like, yes, we are.
He steps a bit closer, approaching to about 15 feet away. You are the guard sent then?
We are. Ignore him.
Guards is a broad term.
He gives a bit of a side eye to the group of you, clearly unsure what to think of this unexpected development.
Kind of walk over here and turn to Oleg. What have they told you, Oleg?
The bandits have been stealing my stock, all of it, for 3 months now. I've been writing for military aid for a contingent of guards since it first began. They always said they'd be on their way.
I've never
Is
heard
that
anything
you?
about that.
I kind of wander off towards Wave a little bit, and over my shoulder, I'm like, "Aid? Now that's a more apt term, I think."
Yeah, I
Guards.
start walking over to Wave. This one here seems to misidentify what a term guard regiment means. We can hold our own, but we're not sent on behalf of them in that capacity.
This establishment is ours now.
Well, they're doing
Oh,
whatever they're doing.
Never mind. I distance myself again.
That was the actual missive we were given, right? Which is that like, hey, this is our base of operations now.
Sorry, clarification on that. You are to use it as your base of operations, but it is not yours. It is like this is just an easy resting point, communication point, trade point.
Okay.
If that would have shaped how you would have said that.
Maybe you
We
put a little
want
bit more
charter.
nuance on it, but I think that's more in line with my character beliefs.
I think the long and short of it is that we can certainly deal with some bandits and would like to stay and help.
What kind of a bandit problem are you having?
The first of every month, they come and take all I have. Well, they'll kill
Just
me
you?
and my wife.
I spoke
How
too
are
soon.
your? It may be hard to tell, but how are they killed?
What?
I'm asking, were they killed by magical means?
Nobody was killed.
Specifically, blood magic.
They haven't killed anyone that I've seen. They just threatened us.
Oh,
Where do these bandits typically come from?
I don't know quite where they're based, but they arrive within an hour of sunrise, the first of each month.
I walk
So
away
tomorrow.
slightly disinterested.
Pray tell, when's the first of the next month?
Is this a 10-day?
Uh,
I'm looking it up.
tomorrow is the first of the next month.
We will be
Uh,
back in 24 hours. Is it sunrise?
You have arrived about 4 o'clock in the evening, late day but not night. Also, as a note, it is the final day of February, or Calistral, as they call it.
Okay.
Ooh, Callisto.
So is this is this more of like just standard calendar sort of thing?
It is the actual real-world calendar, but each month has a name after a god. February
Perfect.
is named after the god Callistra. But all days match how many days are in the according real-world month.
My companions and I might be under a little bit of duress. It's been a long time on the road, and I understand that you might not have much to give, but maybe something beyond rations that we could perhaps settle down and talk over.
My wording was incorrect, but we are here to stay for now. And if we are here to stay, we are here to help.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement.
He takes a quick second before he responds, just sort of looking you over once more. Clearly, there's some level of disappointment of this isn't who he thought you were when you first stepped forward.
Damn
but
it, Fives, I
also
told
a
you.
a bit of acceptance in that it seems like perhaps you'll do, kind of.
Look,
We
Hey.
could always come back in 24 hours if you're that adamant about it.
We can go camp, I guess.
You
we
have
may
somewhere.
not be who you were expecting, but right now we're the best you've got.
He
True.
shakes his head. If
And
you're willing to help, please, I will have a meal for you and drinks. You may stay here as long as you wish.
That's
So
not
long as
what I'm
you help.
interested in.
What?
I
I
need
am.
information.
Like,
I-
ignore
I-
him.
I would also be very much interested in
Glances
food and
between the
drinks.
group.
Kalad just like walks over to the wood palisade here and just like slowly smacks his head against it. Just stands there with his forehead onto the wood.
Now, Fives, why don't you regale us with a tale of one of your recent conquests over food and drinks?
Very well. I will tell you of the one man tank.
Right. And Oleg takes a few steps back and sort of gestures you to follow him.
I kind of like rest my hand on Five's shoulder and like give him a nod and like walk with him over this general direction.
As he walks by this building, he reaches over, opening the door, and reveals just a simple guest house. There's very sparse in it, but just 4 beds, a basic bed stand and footlocker, simple furnishings, nothing extravagant or luxurious.
I would like to
your
mention
things
that,
here if you would like.
I'd like to
4
mention
beds,
that.
how convenient.
Well, what
I'd
was
like to
this?
mention that I'm very wary of this person. He hasn't announced his name yet either, has he?
He hasn't, though he was called Oleg and seemed to
Yeah.
turn at that.
Mm-hmm. I would just like to say I'm suspicious.
Is your suspicion noticeable to the party?
Nope. I'm just being cautious.
Okay.
Oleg, I have to ask, it may be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but what kind of defenses do you have here? It seems the catapults clearly no longer work, but...
He shakes his head. Take supplies, weeks of work to get them operational.
That's unfortunate.
All I have here is the wall, and I'm not much good in a fight. I fought for Brevoy. I fought for 6 days, and I still have the scars to prove it.
6 days is quite a
Question:
battle.
How many bandits normally come to liberate you of all your wares?
12 the first time, but then the next month there were only 10, and then 5 last month.
It seems they may be getting complacent.
He gives a nod to that.
Perhaps we devise a trap for their entry.
They come on horseback.
Anyway, sorry.
At least they have before.
Okay.
they
I set my
dismount.
adventures back down.
And he points over to the shed that he was working on shingling. I just put about everything I have of value in there. They take it and go. It's better to get it all in one place than to have them ransack the house again.
Do you mind? And I start walking towards the place that he gestured.
He just gestures with his hand once more. By all means.
Picking up interest, I think Kalat starts investigating the defensive and capabilities here and the other buildings in the fort.
So let's
Walk
see.
with
Sort of
Gerrit.
one at a time. In the shed. There's a very just like stacks of furs. There's a suit of leather armor with a couple holes in it that look like it was probably from arrows or bolts. A shield, a couple lumberjack axes, not quite balanced for war, and a handful of arrows. There's also just a bag. You can see that there are coins in it, but to get an actual count would take some time to look through.
Do I have an idea of like, is it just a couple coins or is it a decent amount of coins? So far, this kind of seems like a pile of crap. No offense.
It's a good number of coins, high hundreds to 1,000.
Okay.
Though at a glance, you see a lot of coppers, a sprinkling of silvers in there.
Okay. It seems like this guy might be at the end of his ability to bribe bandits.
Oleg,
Dude, oh, go ahead.
do you have a place to shower?
He shakes his head. No, not anything Nice. There's a small stream about a mile, and he points to the north. Get our water from there.
I nod.
Also, when you were looking around at this building, you see that it's just a simple stables, and there is one looks like a little bit aging horse inside.
Oleg, when the bandits come, do they ride the horses into the fort, or do they get off their mounts outside of it?
They dismount outside,
See?
but they bring the horses in with them.
Is there any other entrances to this fort other than the front gate?
He shakes his head. Could try and climb the wall, but none have. Also,
And what
over
are
here,
these?
there's just basically refuse pits.
Okay.
Ah.
Then this
Shit
building
stinks.
looks like an actual house. Just single level, but well made.
Okay.
As you're walking
Sweet.
around it, you very briefly see the glance of a woman from inside, though quickly the window is shuttered.
Oleg, is there anyone else here?
My wife.
Ah. Is that who's in this room?
He gives a nod,
Any children?
shakes his head.
Hmm.
This
How
area
often
is-
do you get visitors? Do you think there would be anybody else coming besides the bandits?
We'll get a trader or two every week. Unlikely to be anyone that early in the morning tomorrow.
Okay.
Seems like a fairly defensible position. At the very least, we could stage ourselves behind the wall next to the entrance. Wait for the bandits to get here in the morning.
We could try a surprise attack.
Having not really fought in y'all's company, what combat capabilities do we have?
Gerrit takes he's got kind of a bandolier that's just has it's got a bunch of like slots for potion bottles to sit in, and he's currently got I think it's a total of 3, 4, 5. He's got 7, actually 8 bottles there. Well, I've got these 4 are more of my bomb varieties, and these 3 are special. They'll allow me to run into the thick of things.
Ah, okay. So a little
Is
bit of
there-
ranged, a little bit of martial.
Is there a beer bottle, or not beer? You know what I'm trying to say? Like some tavern mug on the ground anywhere around here?
Not currently. It seems to be a pretty neat place.
Okay, I need some type of small item I can put on the table. Is there anything like that around?
There's
Or would I
a
have anything on me?
you'd have basic equipment on you. Also, by the door, there's just about 8 boots of varying sizes and wear.
You said boots? Okay.
Eight, like total boots, so 4 pairs.
Okay.
The first
I take
act of
one those-
banditry occurs.
I take one of those and set it on the table, and then walk 20 feet, and then whip out my Acclies and try and snipe them, just to show like this is what I do.
All right. With it being an immobile target, though relatively small, I will say it's like armor class 6.
Okay.
If you hit me in the back of the head, it's over.
I would like to take note if he's actually gonna ruin this poor man's pair of boots and attempt to use my sword to knock the boots off the table before the attack hits.
Ruin a nice pair of boots.
All right, so
What
give me
is
an
your
attack
weapon?
roll on Tevin,
That's
and
what I'm
Robert,
doing.
give me a reflex save. The DC of it will be the result of the attack roll.
And it's bludgeoning damage. You probably wouldn't ruin the boots.
So
Well,
what
my
is your weapon?
Because I have mastery, I believe I get to choose if it actually does lethal damage. I guess. I guess that's different than with an item.
If it's bludgeoning, like I don't know what an Achilles is, so does this look like it would actually just
Basically
ruin
a throwing club. It could
Oh,
it
okay.
could damage your boot, but it won't like destroy it.
Okay, then I'm probably less super interested in intervening.
It's a club on a rope.
Okay, yeah, I'm not worried about him throwing a club at a rope. Then I stand back.
Club on a rope. Do, do, do.
Oleg just watches as the thrown club just strikes into the boot, flinging it off the table.
That's what I specialize in: long range weaponry, and my ropes can be used to trip and impede enemies.
Yeah.
As I start winding my rope back up, I walk over and pick up the boot. Sorry about the boot. I will pay for that.
He shakes his head. It's fine.
Wave just kind of turns his shoulder to the side a little bit to show the bow staff and longbow on his back. Other than that, he looks physically fit, and the only other possessions that he has is a sack on his back that's filled with rations, and it also has a net and a rope in it.
Okay. And I'm mostly up front and fighting, but I do have the capability to reach out about 100 feet or so. Well,
I can hide.
Perhaps we should.
So everybody is melee besides me?
I'm kind of mixed, but
although
also
I
but
do
very
have
low
a-
range.
Although I do have a longbow currently, I can't really effectively use it until second level. I'm pretty bad with it until then.
So I guess I will hang back and try and impede the enemy and support you three.
As the three of you are showing off and discussing amongst each other, Oleg just turns to watch each of you as you speak, and you notice that he is just like he's doing more than a typical person turns. It's more of like full body towards each person. Anyone that has any training in medicine in their characters, this is a clear sign that he's probably got a very injured spine. He is unlikely to be able to move quick enough for any sort of combat situation.
Is it rather apparent that it like looks like when you described that to me before the medicine part, it definitely sounded like he was injured in some way, but less likely I would know that he has a spinal injury?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
It's clear that something is off. A medicine tells you what it is.
I see. You get injured in fighting recently, or is that something from your 6 days of valor?
28 years ago.
It's actually fairly common for soldiers. Make one wrong turn and all that bulky armor, even if it's just a gambeson and chain. One wrong turn with a enemy's boot on your neck. Gotta turn with your whole body the rest of your life.
He
Flashbacks
gives
to
a
about
slight
3 weeks
scoff,
ago.
as if they'd pay us enough to have chain.
I look around to the party
I'm sure
and
your men fought bravely. You know what they say? Wars are won with men, not magic.
No, nobody says that. Anyways.
It does never get old when he says it, though.
is that a normal thing? I'm not aware of one way or the other.
Oleg, perhaps, if you don't mind, are we at liberty to make some adjustments to the fort here to perhaps set up a condition for your arrivals tomorrow?
Sure.
Thank you. If you could have some food prepared for us, that would be lovely. We are quite tired, and I'd like to discuss a few stratagems.
Give me a bit. And
Your
after
hospitality is
briefly
much
stumbling
appreciated.
over his words, he goes to walk towards the big house, disappearing inside if not stopped, and closing the door behind him.
I take it.
Sits down and starts writing in his book.
What's the plan?
So they're walking in. I actually thought about using a rope and raising it as they galloped in, but that doesn't seem their style, so that's how I think the thing that we need to be cautious about is letting anybody escape. If they escape, they can go warn the others about our
Oh.
numbers.
I look at the gate. Does it look like it's something that could be secured closed?
Yes. It more than just about anything else seems to be in still good repair.
Nice. How heavy is
I
the
can
gate?
do
Like, does it have a mechanism that would like, or could we fashion something that would like slam the gate closed behind these guys? Or
It's like a opens in and out, not like drawn up and down. It's like heavy wooden doors.
Yeah. So,
Basically, no matter what, you're not going to have a swinging massive force of it. It takes some time to build up the momentum to move them either direction.
yeah.
Is this like
so
a couple
if they-
turns or?
Sorry.
I'd say in one full turn, so like 3 actions. If it's not barred or anything, you could open like one half of the gate, one side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say it opens inwards, right? So we could like stand. I can't click. Like to the right side of it, like here, and if they walk in to talk to Oleg, we'd be here to close the gates, right?
The raised platform doesn't really offer too much to hide behind as far as cover as it currently is.
Oh, okay.
If you like laid prone right up against the wall of it, you'd be concealed, but only until they actually got inside the fort, and then they'd still be able to see you pretty quickly
What
if
about
they look.
hiding on top of the barracks?
It's another situation of if you're prone, you'd be hidden. If you're standing, it'd be clear to see you. But you could be like slanted on the downslope of it, basically. So until they got.
Oh, is this a ramp up to here?
This whole section is raised.
Okay.
ladders
they're not
over
on the
here.
map, but there are. Oh yeah, there are ladders there. So like ladder there, ladder here.
Okay.
That's how you get up.
So the door, presumably the doors are like this and they open like this way. The ability to I think what Tevin was looking at was like if he was standing on this section,
okay.
would he be able to slam that door
what you
closed?
were saying now.
Yeah, kind of like a little toddler hide and seek type style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When the door is opened, opening it would block you from vision unless they went like all the way around the door to see you, which then you're covered by the building. So that is a good spot for concealment.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Slamming the door, it's kind of too big to slam, but you could close it likely before they can react enough to hear you're doing it, react to you doing it, and then rush out. That would be extremely unlikely that they can do that before you've had a chance.
Listen, bandits have hubris. Like, as soon as we close the door, they're like, well, who do we have here? So, I don't see them running out the front door.
Especially if you guys attack them while I'm closing the door, they shouldn't have time to do anything. Or do we want me to?
As long as we close the doors, I don't see too much likelihood of them getting away, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Maybe we could give our man on the top 5s a rope where he can pull the second door closed as well.
Or I
How
could just put them on the
versatile
other
can
side.
I be
Or
with
he
my
could be on the other
client?
side.
Can I use them they do have a hook into them. How hard would it be to hook a door closed?
It would be not difficult, but it wouldn't be trivial. That said, if you were willing to take the slight risk of the rope being seen, you could sort of hook it in beforehand and see if they notice.
We have time right now, right? Would I be able to do a practice hooking session to see how easy it is?
I would say if you were willing to just put some time into it right now and really practice the throw, so long as you make it before combat has started, like before the really adrenaline danger is pumping, you will not need to roll. You will just be able to do it.
Okay, I will
Nice.
dedicate some time to practicing that then.
We'll say that just real quick, like, we could just also have me standing on the other side, so we each have a door.
Or
That would
that.
close it faster than one person trying to do both both heavy doors
I think-
together.
I think a little bit of speed would be preferable.
Do we know how many bandits we're typically expecting?
He
Well,
said
so
last, it's been
five
going down
last
every
month.
time, and the last time was 5.
Mhm.
Okay.
I step into here. How much hay do they have? Do they have enough hay to where I could like reasonably like do some filling of this cart to block some line of sight to like try to hide behind the cart?
Yeah, it's no absurd amount, but there's definitely enough to do that.
Okay. I think this may be my position when the time comes.
Are you trying to get
Yeah.
under the cart as well to like block the ability to see feet, or just on top to block?
Yeah, I want probably what I'll try to do is like get a little bit on top to block my like upper body and head, and then like make it kind of look like one of the things of hay fell off the side, and like to block the bottom of the cart on the opposite side.
How
Totally
far
doable.
in do we want them to go? Like here? Because they'd be able to see you from there, right? Or were you just?
I think by the time
wanting
they pass the cart, we should be
Okay.
And how
to
tall
act.
is the roof of this thing?
Roof of which one? Sorry.
The barracks building.
Little over 10 feet, like between about 10 and 13, depending on how high up you are on the slant of the roof.
Okay. I think I will probably hide about here.
On the roof, or
No, in front of the building.
okay.
I realize that having to be prone means a few more risks than just being down here. I don't think I actually get any advantage being up there.
Ooms, did you see my message?
Oh yeah, just reading that now. So as for the first one,
That was the kind of I already
Okay.
answered, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then for the second, it's about an 8-foot drop. It's not something you would want to be like forced or shoved off of, but a controlled jump you can make without issue.
Cool. Any other prep anyone want to do?
I don't have very many supplies to assist otherwise.
Uh.
I don't think.
I'm not
I've got nothing else to do, so I think I'm still just gonna practice that door close just in case it comes in handy.
Gerrit,
yes.
is that your name? Sorry.
Gerrit.
Gerrit, okay. Do your bombs produce fire by any chance?
Unfortunately, none of the ones that I have now. I've got poison and fear.
Okay. Perhaps not.
Do the horses scare? Typically.
Are you wanting to ask Oleg that? He's currently making dinner.
No, I think this would be like a question to Gerrit and Kalat, just because I don't know a lot about horses.
That's a fair. That is a very fair question. So this doesn't actually inflict fear, frightened on anyone other than the person that I hit, but it does. I do have a couple of things that do splash damage. If a bunch of things were to hit all these horses for like 1 damage, would they like tend to spook from something like that happening, or?
Depends. If it is a horse that has been trained for war, that is something that has gone through many times in training or in battle. It is very unlikely to get spooked unless it's a actual dangerous level hit.
Okay.
If it hasn't been specifically war trained, 1 point of damage is going to spook that horse.
Okay.
Definitely. And it would be an active effort to try and calm it and get it to do what you wanted as opposed to what it wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not fully familiar with all the lore stuff yet. So I have warfare lore.
Pay me too.
I'm kind of like, yeah, oh, nice. Wondering when stuff like that would be when we would interject with it.
So basically, for all lores, think of them as very specific versions of other skills. Like, if you were making a, I don't know, if you had a longer time to prep and you were building a pit trap in front of a 100-foot long trench kind of thing, that would probably be a crafting check generically. But if you have warfare lore, you can instead make the warfare check, and all lores will have a lower DC than if you made the standard normal check. They're just basically highly specific versions of other skills with narrow applications.
That's cool.
Likewise, like Tevin's got underworld lore, I believe. Anything that is like underworld lore, that'll tend to be like society checks. But if it's specifically an underworld kind of thing, he can use his underworld lore instead at a lower DC to get the same info.
Cool.
Water lore, ocean lore.
Apart from food, I think this is most of the preparations I need to make.
Great.
Does it appear that Oleg is near finished or finished with the food preparations, or is he still got a ways to go?
The windows are shuttered, the door is closed. You cannot see him. Though if your plan is basically just to wait a bit,
Yeah.
you can just say we wait and we'll move on.
I was deciding on whether I was gonna go like wash off in the river now, before dinner, or after dinner. But I'll just
Probably
wait until
after.
dinner.
After a bit, he comes out. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool. There we go. Holding a large tray, holding 4 plates in his hand. You see a cut of venison on each of them, along with just a simple meal of potatoes. He steps over and sets it down in the middle of this table.
Oh,
Thank you all. There's also 4 cups of ale.
hey, way better than dried meat.
Meat.
Frank.
I give Oleg a nod and I dig in to the food.
Thank you all. The meal itself is serviceable, but it's clearly not made by any expert chef.
Yeah, you know.
You'll notice Wave's sharp, pointy shark teeth.
I noticed the meal is not rations and enjoy it nonetheless.
Ration.
Oleg, I obviously can't promise anything, but I hope that we will be enough, and we will certainly try our best to keep this threat away.
Thank you.
I'm confident we can beat any bandits.
I'm quite confident too, but
Wait, what?
Fives has increased his HP.
I
He
should
is
be at
now
17.
17 plus.
Why is it at 16?
Great
Wait
question.
a second. I'm having... So should it be 16 or should it be 17?
I was 15 and then I got the studded armor, so it went up to 17, didn't it?
Oh, so
Your
that
AC
makes
is
your
17.
armor class goes up. It doesn't change how many hit points you have.
Oh, I'm dumb. Okay.
You're less
No
likely to
worries.
be hit, but if you are hit, it doesn't actually change how bad it is.
Yeah. All right, never mind.
All good?
Yeah, 16 looks right. There we go.
Uh,
Also, Oleg, while he stays out as you eat your meal, he himself does not. Just remaining standing, watching over.
Seem nervous. I say in between eating.
Yeah. If they win, they will kill me and Svetlana.
Do you wish to leave the fort?
We've nowhere else to go. We're not going back to Bravoy.
Do you have a crossbow? Or a bow?
He shakes his head. I had a crossbow. They took it in their first raid.
Smart on them. Does anybody here have a dagger he can defend himself with at least?
I pull off the longbow off of my back and like move as if to start to go hand it to him.
He shakes his head slightly. Can't pull my arms apart enough to use it.
Figured as much. I don't say that, but I think that in my head as I call it in person.
I'm sorry, but I cannot aid you in this fight.
If we kill these bandits, we are inviting more of them.
Will you
We'll have a
take care
lot-
of them?
As
We'll have a lot
Fives
more of
mentioned
them
when we
than-
got here, it's our place now. Sorry, Waves.
I think
After this session, or like next session, we need some kind of camera situation so I can see people's faces, so that I can like social cue when to speak and when not to speak.
Oh yeah.
I'm good to do webcam stuff
yeah,
if people are interested in it.
yeah, for sure.
I could.
Um,
Ooh, I don't know if the video input's gonna work for me.
yeah, I know
And
people
we're
have
gonna have to
trouble
set
up,
with Roll20 before with streaming and trying to input it to Roll20 at the same time. Or
One,
even,
we
like,
would probably use Discord, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just gonna use
Discord has
on
a
the
pretty
second
simple
screen.
option too.
Robert, we're gonna have
Fair
to
enough.
set up the like digital webcam thing that I haven't figured out how to fully set it up, but I don't think it's super complicated. They'll
maybe next
basically
session stuff,
Yeah.
though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm good to do that for next session though, for sure.
Cool. In the meantime, I don't remember what I was saying. I was saying, oh, we're gonna have to deal with a lot more than 5 bandits in our adventures here in the Stolen Lands. Was what I was intending to say.
Something just came to me. Do you happen to know if these bandits are working on behalf of the Stag Lord?
Stag Lord? He doesn't seem to recognize the name.
Fair enough.
They're working for that devil Crystal.
Crest.
Bless you.
He gives a nod to that. She's one of them tieflings. I think she leads the band.
Very
She
interesting.
was on the first raid, but hasn't been back.
Well,
Eyeing Fives out of the corner of my eye. Do they use magic?
Nothing really looked too magic, but like I said, a fight didn't break out.
Fair enough.
well, like Wave said, if one round of bandits was enough to stop us, then we wouldn't be here.
You said sunrise, right? They don't appear before.
Within about an hour of morning, yeah.
Make sure we're awake before that happens so that we can put our armor on.
He gives a nod. Also, just typing in spelling.
Oh yeah.
Ah, Cressel.
I will never
Now that
ever
I'm-
guess a D&D name right.
Nope, me either.
Now that I'm looking around at my companions a little bit more earnestly, what kind of armor do my companions wear?
My bare chest, of course.
Yeah, of course.
You also see not bare-chested, but significantly unarmored, as I kind of like feed a little piece of meat to my snake friend under my arm.
I do have
And I-
17 armor class, though.
And I am using just light studded armor.
Ah.
What about you?
I am in breastplate, so I'm wearing medium armor. I have 18 AC.
I will noticing you like kind of checking out people's armors and like maybe just like non-verbally fidgeting with your own breastplate, I take one of the elixirs that I have out and I'm like, if it makes you feel any better, after dinner snack, I chug my Drakeheart, one of my Drakeheart mutagens, and you see as I like kind of roll my sleeves up, first you see there's like really sparse kind of like random tattoos, just like there's some that are like maybe look like alchemical symbols, but then there's just a lot of like there's an anchor and like a whole bunch of other stuff. But then the skin on my arms starts like scaling over with these dragon scales, and my eyes turn into slits, and he kind of like flexes his head a little bit, like it's. Ooh.
Oleg just takes a half step back as this happens.
Kalat stands up and is looking with interest. That is amazing.
It's
Five raises an eyebrow.
it's my one of my favorite concoctions currently. A little bit harder to keep things mentally in check, but it works well for combat.
I have to ask, is that something that is shareable?
Yes, I can't make too much of it currently, but at some point when if I have some time with a lab, I can certainly. Oh, okay. I'll just make a will saving throw real quick.
Critical.
You know, honestly, that
Downside of the mutagen, honestly.
I can roll with that. That's me like not going hack mode right now. So, oh, okay, we're fine. But
I've heard of cursed armor before.
I can certainly make quite a lot of it. It will probably be something that I need some time with a lab to produce larger amounts. But for the moment, it as it like kind of starts fading away. As we're talking, it doesn't last for too particularly long, but it is my specialty. I make a couple of things similar. I've got another one that I'm not quite as fond of, but helps grow claws and fangs and that sort of thing.
It sounds mildly uncomfortable, but extremely useful.
It is very useful. It's only as uncomfortable as you make it. Unfortunately, I have a predisposition that makes it a little bit more uncomfortable for me.
Fair enough.
Oleg-
In traveling
sorry,
with in traveling with Gerrit for like a week now, would I have seen Hack come out?
You probably would have, especially since we've been traveling for a week. Hack's probably come out to spar with Wave a good handful of times. And basically, like, when Hack comes out, like, it would basically be like Wave and Gerrit kind of walking off from the camp a little bit to do the sparring. And you just hear Gerrit's like voice get way deeper, and he's just like yelling profanities constantly.
Oh, fair enough. I guess that's probably some good context of flavor. A lot of time, whenever we have a spare moment of just like downtime, Talat is probably constantly either practicing forms with his sword or he is studying from his spellbook. He's almost constantly absorbed in that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Fives is probably going to go to the bed and be writing in his book, primarily right now about Gerrit, about how someone so smart can have someone so foolish inside of him.
I'll look to Kalat and Gerrit. You got things here?
Yeah, I think we got things here.
Certainly.
I'll be back. And I make my way over to that stream he was talking about earlier.
As you begin to step up, Oleg looks over towards. Sorry, one more time. Gerrit. Gerrit. It will eventually be normal for me to say. Looks to Gerrit. There's a man. He's a little. He sort of raises a hand to the side of his head and waves his finger around, sort of the little crazy motion. But he lives out in the swamp by the name of Balkan. He makes something sort of like that, and he gestures to the now empty mutagen vial.
Really? That's quite interesting. You set out in the swamp.
He gives a nod. He'd come and sell a few of his concoctions back before the bandits were here all the time.
Well, I may have to pay this Balkan a visit, or maybe he'll be back here before you know it. We can trade some recipes.
He gives a nod to that.
Before I walk out, I turn to look at Gerrit as like You coming with me today?
No, not today. I think.
And
So-
I'll let you know if I see him, and head out to the to the creek.
It's a little under a mile, about 3/4 of one, but over simple, easy terrain. The creek itself it's about 12 feet wide, shallow enough to walk through, though you're gonna get totally soaked doing so. But it's plenty enough for you to submerge yourself and refreshen the gills.
I do love the idea of like you're gonna get totally soaked though.
Oh no!
Oh no! No, I know.
That's
What I
for
was
you.
looking for.
I'll actually like submerge myself under the water in the creek and attempt to like nestle up somewhere under the water and fall asleep out here for my long rest.
No, I think that we
Anything
just.
else of significance that anyone's doing tonight, or is it just finishing up the meal and then retiring to bed?
No, Kalat does
Retiring.
training and preps his spells for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And Oleg returns to the big house.
Get our the like daily preparation stuff. How does that generally kind of play out or work? Is that like kind of molded into the long rest, or
For what? Sorry.
so I, as part of my daily preparations, I like craft my bombs and stuff out of my alchemy.
Yeah, that would just be like at the end of the long rest. You basically that like when I wake up and then play on my phone for a half hour,
Yeah.
you instead make bombs. You know, as one does.
As one does. All right, cool.
Yep.
I would like
'Cause
to
I
sleep
think-
over here.
That in my because I think that the a lot of the alchemy stuff, like it's part of your daily preparation,
Yeah,
you make that, right? So like if we were to be woken up early or like ambushed in our sleep sort of thing, I probably wouldn't have any of my bombs because I think that they all fizzle at a certain time.
They fizzle when you make your new ones.
Okay, cool.
So like if you are ambushed in the middle of the night but had unused ones from yesterday, you still have those, but you don't have your full set.
Perfect.
Same goes
How
for
much-
like spell slots for casters and things like that.
How much time does it take to don medium armor?
I don't know off the top of head. It's in the 1 to 10 minute range though.
Okay.
It's very much something you can do just like as part of your ending long rest kind of thing.
Okay.
There's a
Don't even
feat
know.
that you can help someone don armor faster. Probably one of
There
the
is?
least taken feats in the world, but
It's a squire feat. The squires take it.
Takes
Why
1 minute to don
attend
light
thee?
armor. It's 1 and 5. 1 for light, 5 for medium and heavy, and 1 minute to remove any armor.
okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, so 1 and 5 to put it on, and then 1 to take it off.
Neat.
Easy peasy.
All right. But with that, the night passes without further interruption, and morning comes.
Oh, good. Good that it
If
comes,
you
and not
are
that it
if you
doesn't.
are not up a little before sunrise, you would get a knock at the door.
We arise.
I'm definitely a sleep, specifically the minimum amount of required sleep, kind of like
Discipline
meditation
monk man.
style, discipline monk man, wake up at exactly when I choose to wake up kind of situation.
Sounds good.
I go to answer the door.
And I didn't move him, but Oleg is right outside and says they'll probably be here within the next hour, maybe 2.
It's just enough
Lot-
time.
Puts on his armor and warms up.
You watch Gerrit like reach into the snake's mouth and like pull out this like kind of glowing liquid and then start mixing it with some other stuff in his kind of like mobile alchemy lab that he's got.
Yeah, but of course.
Oleg's gaze is just fixed upon it with a mix of fascination and disgust.
I'm going to go stretch my legs. And then I just go walk around to kind of get some stretches in, make sure I'm nice and loose and limber.
Dude, the walls trip me
A
out.
motion to fives as you walk by.
The fact that there are walls that work is like probably the most amazing thing I've ever encountered in my life. Like it's still
I do
blowing
like
my
the
mind.
lighting.
No,
It's
it's
really
like
nice.
no, you can't walk through the walls though.
Oh yeah.
Like I walked over here earlier and I was like, I can't get in here. The door is closed.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. But yeah, get our preparations down, get set up for battle eventually.
The horse whinnies at you as you begin stealing the hay from the stables, but the rest of your preparations go off without a hitch.
Right. Can we take a brief pause so that I can go refresh on coffee before entering
Yeah.
the next section?
A couple minute break.
Break time.
Break time.
I will grab a
I
bubbly
wanna-
water.
I want a character text channel. I've decided. Tevin's making me
Okay.
jealous.
I shall make one for you.
Oh, you want one now?
Yeah, I
You've
want
been
one
looking at
now.
mine?
Yeah, it's nice.
I think I'm going to put all my investigation notes in here for all my investigation files to keep track.
It's
My
awesome.
progress.
I love it.
I like the code name. The code name Red Mist is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
I do too. If you could just come up with code names for all the bad guys we meet, that'd be great.
That's what I'm going to do.
Also, I want to show you guys. Might as well go ahead and give me one of those as well, Doomer, so I can send
All
these
right.
pictures that I.
Exactly.
So I was literally like I was slaving over like figuring out what I was gonna do for my familiar, because I was pretty sure that I was gonna have a familiar. But it was kind of like I don't know, dude. Like how gruesome do you go? How like what direction do you go with this thing? And then I finally found this picture, and I was like, oh yeah, oh yeah. This is the perfect amount of like malleable, like can just kind of push it into being whatever I want it to be.
One hungry marshmallow.
Plus its name is adipose and it's made out of like human fat, so
Oh, no.
Dude, the character art that you use for your token is like, mwah, 10 out of 10.
it was probably the hardest Pinterest find that I've had in a long time.
I've made one for Robert too, because everyone else has one.
Yes.
You don't need to use it, but it is there.
Also the let's see. Where is my general thoughts for the like tattoos that he has on his arm are very similar to like this sort of situation where it's like basically just like as he was essentially blacked out and like getting in bar fights and stuff, he was also just like slowly collecting tattoos, or Hack was slowly collecting tattoos, and Jerry just kind of had to roll with it.
I was originally imagining like the mad scramblings of an alchemist who's like writing down notes and shit on his arms, but it's actually the opposite. It's Hack that's like,
Yeah,
well, I'm out here getting something tattooed on your arm, bud.
It's like
I hate when my alternate personality gets me tattooed.
it's literally like it's Hack getting the tattoos, but then some of them like actually look like alchemical symbols because like that's just so ingrained in like his consciousness that it's like, even though Hack is just like, I'm gonna get this stupid ass oh man, that kind of makes sense.
Has like those like chemistry compounds like tattooed on his arm.
Also, I love Pinterest so much as a website, and also I love looking at my boards and just like seeing myself go through phases. Like I've got like 30 pictures of like Victorian alchemist doctor style characters, and then right immediately afterwards just hard switches to like femboy drow for like 40 pictures. And
Dude, I unironically love Pinterest. Like,
it's so good.
art is great, and I feel like it's so much better to have the content curated for you. You're like, oh, I like this thing and I clicked on it, and so Pinterest is showing me more of those things. This can only be a good thing.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
I've returned.
Welcome
Hello.
back.
Everyone else has requested a channel, so you got one as well.
I see.
But with
All
that,
right.
are you all ready to continue?
Yes.
I am ready. Is Tevin here?
I'm here. I've never left.
I see.
He's an investigator. He's always on duty.
Exactly.
All right. So, is that like the positions that you're going to be in as you detect anything, basically? And is the gate currently open?
I think the gate is as it was
Or this one,
originally.
yeah.
So
Yep.
I think that was open.
Yep.
And this is indeed my position.
Fives and Wave, are you like scouting out at all, or are you just totally hidden waiting? You know that there's a good amount of clearing and like good sight lines from the fort itself. So especially if you're just like only have a head poked up, it would be almost impossible for you to be spotted before you see anyone coming.
Okay, then I'll be scouting.
Yeah, sure.
Fort's
about
doobie
another-
doing the fort thing.
What was that?
Yeah, I was just saying Fort's doobie doing the fort thing.
Yes.
I figured we would just take his word for it and close the door after we hear 5 sets of footsteps enter. No more, no less.
What if it's just 5 sets of footsteps?
Oh no.
Oh no.
404 error.
After about 40 or so minutes of tense waiting, Fives, you spot on your lookout several figures approaching. It looks like four humanoids, can't really tell much more than that at this distance, on horseback. They seem to be coming directly towards Oleg's.
Okay, are they far enough where I can talk normally, or do I need to whisper?
Oh yeah, you could shout and they wouldn't hear you. You see them like a ways across the plains.
Okay, I'd be like, guys, did we plan on horses?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, they're coming. I see 4 of them, and their horses too.
Oleg seems to tense up as he steps back and walks into the big house, closing the door behind him.
See you on the other side, old man.
May I still be with you all.
All right.
Gerrit gets his sleeves rolled up, starts getting ready. He takes out one of his blight bombs and his Drakeheart mutagen to hold for the start of things.
I'll have
And-
my bow staff wielded.
I assume no one is doing anything or revealing themselves prior to them entering the fort. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Oh, sword drawn and hiding up against this building.
Yep.
So, you begin to see the figures a little more clearly as they get closer. In the front, and they as they near the fort, all four dismount, just leading the horses in by the reins. In the front, you see a man. He seems to be directing the other three. Clearly, just visually appears to be the man in charge. He's got a large longbow just carried loosely in one hand, and a long sword at its side. Beside him is another man, with sword and shield in hand. A third, who seems to just have a long dagger at their belt, but nothing currently held. And then one in the back, scanning around, seeming a little more attentive than the others, and with a short bow in hand, though not quite at the ready. And the four advance. As they step up near the gate, the one in front just calls out, "Oleg!" They advance forward. "Where are you? Your dues are owed." The two of them advance up and seem to continue walking, whereas the other two remain where they are, taking a slow step up, but not seeming to follow quite with the rest. They are not
I would
quite
move to
in
attack.
line of sight at this point. They're like right before it. What was that, Robert?
Said I would move to attack.
Mm-hmm. Time to do the things.
In this moment, so two things to note. One, I'm going to try out something. It is a variant rule. If we don't like it, we're going to get rid of it. This is not a permanent decision. This is let's see how it feels. We are going to have shared group initiative. You all go on the same initiative and can intermingle your turns. So, for instance, Colin could move up to a bad guy, then Robert moves to flank him, and then both of you strike once you're already flanking on both sides.
Okay.
How does initiative rolls work?
Initiative is going to be rolled basically just one roll on each side, and I'll be 100% honest. I don't have this 100 totally locked down. In this moment, though, there is not going to be an initiative. You have surprised them. You win initiative.
Okay.
So I am going to add just a tracker to have them both up there. Oh, that has put his name in there. Whatever, that's fine.
Taps bided.
And you go first.
The President of the United States of America. I knew you would be here.
But in the sudden moment of surprise, as they're stepping out, they are all flat-footed for this round. They have -2 to their AC. They clearly weren't actually expecting a fight here.
Hey,
It is your guys' collective turns, and as mentioned, you may take them in whatever combos and orders you wish.
I would recommend myself for at least one action of chucking a bomb, because it does have splash damage. So I probably as soon as do I have actual line of sight on either of these guys here?
Yes.
Okay.
You can take like less than a 5-foot step of just like you're no longer pressed up against the wagon, and then you can have line of sight.
So I immediately chug the Drakeheart mutagen that's in my hand that does the Drakeheart mutagen thing and increases my AC. And if you had any doubts or questions before, you most definitely see it now. The entire posture change and the like slight color change of the right arm as the claws grow out, and you just hear "You're fucked now." And this flies out. I think that probably is just a miss, but I forget how splash damage works.
We
targeting.
will look it up later. Splash damage will hit the targets. The attack itself misses.
Yes, so they both take at least the one poison damage of splash damage.
Hey, and as do you want to describe like what happens when this bomb breaks? What does it look like?
So this one unfortunately misses, but it hits on the ground there, and the blight bomb specifically is a I have it written down here. It's full of toxic chemicals that rot flesh. So it basically just like splashes out this like gooey green liquid on the ground, and you just immediately see like the toxins kind of boiling parts of the ground there. And the like it splashes up, like gets into their boots a little bit, and that's what actually gets them.
As the skin on both of their legs begins sputtering slightly, they shout out with sudden cry of pain and surprise, fear on their face as the ambush begins. What's next? Also, just as one other quick note on this initiative thing, don't. I like the best way I can explain it is don't worry about 100% perfect planning taking an hour to devise the exact maneuvers. Battle is hectic. It's okay to just say I do this thing, even if it might not have been the perfect strategy in the long run. So I encourage activity.
And so flanking is flanking a rule?
Yes, if you flank
Okay.
directly across from someone, they are flat-footed relative to you. All of these guys are flat-footed in this particular round, though.
Okay.
Can I push this door closed, or are they in the way?
They are just past being in the way, so yes, you can.
How many actions does it
I'm
take?
pushing my door closed.
It is all 3 actions if you want to fully secure it. But if you just put in 2 actions, you can get it. You can get it so like you'd need to really squeeze to get through, if assuming both sides have it.
I'll use all 3 of my actions.
Also use all 3 of my actions to close it fully.
And the heavy doors shut behind them.
I'll use my last action to walk up to these, and he kind of like strides up and he's like, "Hello, lovelies."
Oh lord.
You see the man holding the longbow just take a quick glance to the man next to him. Get him! As he points to you. Robert?
So I haven't fully defined how all this is gonna actually play out flavor-wise yet, but a bunch of stuff happens all at once. So the first thing that happens almost every single turn of combat is going to be what's called Spell Strike, where for a free action, I actually imbue a spell, and in this turn it will be a cantrip, into my double-pronged sword, which is called a Roka sword. The act of imbuing and casting a spell into that weapon allows me to flavor text here, but right now is probably like telekinetically shunt. Essentially, like it's just an increased set of speed that pushes me along the ground at my move speed and places me right next to Gerrit. And then I will make a stab at this guy here in front of Gerrit.
What is the
So
spell you're
that's-
putting into it, by the way?
Spell is going to be telekinetic projectile. So it will last in my sword until I connect or the end of my next turn, whichever comes first.
You may make your swing.
I hope I did this right. It should be this.
Hey,
And with that, while flat-footed, you cut into him with a critical hit.
let's go.
Hey, this is good. So also a number of things happen. The spell is discharged. He'll take the 12 critical slashing damage there, and then whatever I roll, I now roll a spell attack based on that. So what you guys see is the sword connecting, and then this bluish energy, just as it was like slashing through him, just magically immediately rebounds it for another hit, slashing at him with magic. And because I critical on the first attack, whatever the success of this is increased by 1 step.
That's a crit!
Also a crit.
Also a
Bops.
crit.
16! All right. So second swing. How do you cut this man down?
The first slash like clips him across his arm and down into his chest, and so as he's reeling from that, his neck is exposed, and I just lop his head off.
And with one quick rebounded stroke, his head falls limply to his side as panic just grips these bandits as they suddenly begin scanning around, looking at everyone. Well, looking at these two. They haven't noticed you two yet. All you've done is close the door. They don't even seem to have really noticed that you closed the door behind them. All right, that was everyone's 3 actions, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I say, you should probably surrender.
The man in front of you with the sword and shield seems like he's not quite certain. He's still processing this, and he raises up the shield defensively. As he does, he stabs out with the sword before stepping back and away, putting distance between you.
Fancy.
This is directly in front of him, so this is at you,
Gerrit.
Gerrit.
That's a miss.
He cuts into you with the blade because that is the before any modifiers.
Oh,
And you have
What is
18 AC.
what is,
this is
You
true.
have 18 AC,
Okay.
right?
Yep, 18.
Yeah.
He cuts me. I cut my flesh.
And he slices you
Oh,
for 9
big
points
cut.
of damage
Oh.
Big
before
cut.
stepping back. Stay back! Sword pointed out over his shield as it's raised. The others. This man turns, runs, and is suddenly stopped because there's a wall where there wasn't one moments before. With a quick panicked look to either side, he loses an action from his disorientation before finally readying his bow and drawing out. Oh, sorry, that's this one. This one does all that. Readying his bow, drawing back, and firing at the first one he sees on the wall, which is going to be a 1 for wave and a 2 for 5s.
Hello.
Up at wave.
I don't have catching arrows.
Oh.
yet.
I was gonna say monks catch this, right?
And the arrow strikes into you for 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage.
Non-critically.
Well, this would be
Finally.
the not crit.
This bandit, likewise, just takes a few moments stammering around as he looks before he steps up a little bit and just pulls out his knife, holding it at the ready, but seems uncertain of what to do, and his brief hesitation costs him his chance to act. It is back to the 3 of you. 4.
I missed. I missed that a little bit. So he steps forward. He pulls out a knife and does what?
Just hesitates, isn't sure what to do.
Okay.
He loses the action.
Okay.
I would like to do some things.
Go for it.
I want to jump down off this palisade onto the ground next to this archer.
All right. You
And-
see fear in his eyes as you leap forward at him. Your foreign form adding to the terror.
As one action to move, and on my way down, I will switch into dragon stance.
Oh,
Mhm.
I was about to make a
Another
guess. Were you about to bite this dude with your anglerfish face? And I was gonna get all sorts of
No.
not okay really quickly.
No, I'm just going to kick him. And in one fluid motion, landing on the ground, I swing into a sweeping kick motion with my staff laid up against my leg and strike at him with a dragon kick strike.
Dragon kick.
Using my flurry of blows action to attack him twice.
Oh.
All right, take
So-
some swings.
First is this one,
That's a hit.
and then
Does
how do I
not
make
crit,
it
though.
roll damage at the same time? I think that's
see.
this thing up here. Okay, well I'll just roll damage now.
For
So it'll be
9
9
points.
Points of damage. And then let's try this. A second attack. There we go.
There we go. That is unfortunately a miss.
Ooh, boo.
Your first kick strikes into him, but then he seems to collect himself a little bit, leaping over the next one as he stumbles backwards.
All right,
Next.
that's my 3 actions.
So for the unaware of what all this is, so like how do your actions work there?
I used one action as a move action, just like a regular move action, which is me just
Mhm.
jumping down and landing. I used one action to go into dragon stance, which just changes. It gives me a minor benefit of the every time I start a move action, the first square of difficult terrain is ignored. Not super relevant here, but then it makes it so I can make all while I'm in the stance, which lasts until I decide to not be in the stance or the combat ends, or switch to a different stance. It changes all of my unarmed strikes into dragon tail attacks, which are just D10 damage plus my strength bonus. They have the backswing modifier on them, which means that if I miss on an attack, the next attack that I make after that has a +1 to hit. And then my last action for the turn is the monk basic action, which is Flurry of Blows, which is you make one action and you're going to make 2 attacks against someone. You still apply all your minus to multi-attack penalties. So I'll still get -5 on the second swing. But otherwise, it lets me make 2 attacks for 1 action. I can do that once.
Use it more. Oh, okay. Cool.
It has the flourish
Yeah.
tag.
Okay. I am aware of it. Sweet.
I
That
would
is my
like
turn.
to devise a stratagem against the archer next to Wave.
Okay.
Whoops. So roll a d20. Well,
Oh,
I don't think I'll be attacking him this time.
that's fair. His guard is perfect.
Surveying his stance, he seems to be on the defensive with Wave, and it's unlikely that you'll land a quick blow.
That was 1 action. So then I'm going to actually do a ranged attack with my Acolytes at this guy. 'Cause
All right.
That's 20 away. Yeah, range of 20.
Okay, so flanking only works for melee?
Correct.
Okay.
That will hit him.
Nice.
Didn't
Devise a
roll
stratagem, kicking butt.
damage.
For 7 points of damage. He seems heavily wounded by this thump, but is not brought down quite yet. Also, just as a quick note, the critical effects are basically something that is like unlocked at later levels for marshals. It is not something that is in play at level 1.
Okay.
Oh, that's the crit specialization thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. Hack reaches into his bag like, where the fuck did he put it? And grabs some rudimentary medical tools and is going to use his hold on, where is it? Battle medicine.
Battle medicine.
All right.
So I need to make it's a DC 15 medicine check, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That is
Wah, wah.
still a failure, unfortunately. He gets kind of frustrated, like tosses the tools down, like whatever. I was always more of a butcher anyway, and walks forward and is gonna take a swing at this boy.
Before he does, I am watching Gerrit here, and I move to the flank. While that happens, I have a quick question. Are you allowed to split your movement at all?
I use my 3rd action to recall my clock.
All right, you are able to do that. Movement itself is like all at once. Like when you use a move action, that is the whole move action. You can't like move 10 feet of it, make a strike, and then the other 15, for instance.
Okay. All right, and I'd like to redo that a little bit because I'm going to be using Spell Strike again.
Moving by a spell strike.
Yep. So seeing all this happen, he throws out his tools. I begin casting the Spell Strike, ending up behind him with the telekinetic magic of it as I continue casting telekinetic projectile.
With that, he is now flat-footed against your attack.
He's
Gerrit?
Gerrit.
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 With a
Hold on,
J.
J.
Now
Yeah,
swap.
with a
Is
J.
it Gerrit or Gerrit?
Gerrit.
Gerrit.
Okay.
Gerrit.
Yeah, basically with a J. I am attacking with a hag claw. There it is. Oh, come on! I've rolled nothing but 8s.
Unfortunately, even with flat footing, he's got a shield up and you're unable to get around it, fending you off with his blade.
And I stab him in his back. Presuming I can do that.
Oh yeah, sorry. Make the roll.
I've lost my sheet. I found the sheet. I make the roll. Does this?
Well,
And however, even with him flat-footed and flanked, he spins around at the last moment, his shield blocking your blow.
oh, come on. No blood?
Oh, blood.
You freaks! Is that everyone?
Was
all of me.
yes. Oh,
That was all me.
All
are
right.
we good?
The man with a dagger in hand is going to make a will save. Another few moments of hesitation pass as he loses an action before finally seeming to snap to his senses. And he takes another action as a step around you before plunging out the dagger into your back. What is your AC? 18?
Flanking
It is 18.
chain.
Even
Chain.
even with flanking, he does not quite land a hit, your breastplate stopping his blow as fear seems to grip into him. Waves.
Hi.
This archer leaps back from you with a step before immediately knocking an arrow and trying to fire it into you.
Rude.
His arrow misses, unable to find its mark, as he quickly fumbles for another, firing it rapidly.
Ooh.
Which
Oh.
does not even make it all the way to you, just sticking in the gate right there.
I'm so ready for when I get catch arrows. Like, beyond ready.
The sword and shield men. Just get back! As he stabs out once more at Gerrit.
Yes. You nailed it. But you didn't
You
nail
didn't nail
me.
that,
And takes an action to just step out to the side, getting out from between you, as with his third action he raises his shield. Back to the four of you.
I have a question about
Yes.
people raising their shields.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to try to disarm this man, how would that play out with the shield raisingness?
Disarming him of his shield or disarming his
Yeah,
sword?
how would I be able to just grab his shield and yank it off of him, sort of thing?
So it is difficult to do. Disarm, basically a successful disarm does not completely remove their weapon or whatever you're disarming. It basically weakens their grasp of it. You give anyone that's trying to disarm him again a +2 bonus, and they take a -2 bonus for any attacks with it or any relevant rolls they're doing with it.
Okay.
For the shield in particular, I would say the amount of hardness that absorbs is sort of the relevant roll there. So it essentially, if you shield block reactions with it, it will absorb 2 less damage than it normally would.
Okay.
And then if you critically succeed the disarm, then you just yank away the whole shield and he no longer has a raised shield. All the benefits are removed.
Interesting.
Well, I will just attack this guy.
All right. Take a throw. And that'll strike into him for 5. He's looking badly wounded with that, and he drops the short bow on the ground and just shakily raises up his hands.
All right. I recall my class, and then you can attack. If you attack different people, do you still take the attack penalty for multiple attacks?
Yeah, that stays no matter who your target is.
Okay.
Still, that second attack is pretty good to make oftentimes. It's usually the third attack that's kind of hard to make work.
Very hard to make the third attack unless you've got an agile weapon or ranger stuff or things like that.
Yeah. There's nobody that I think is within 20 feet.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, I can attack all these people.
Yep.
All right, then I will make it this attack here as my third.
Dagger man.
All right. However, that one is not going to strike into him, as he's more focused on looking around for threats than he is for actually defending himself as he dodges out of the way. Also, just as a quick note, there's like a number 2 and number 3 button on the attack roll.
Oh, I
If
forgot.
you click those, it'll build in the penalty into the roll.
Yeah.
I see.
To start, while waiting for the rest of this turn to unfold, I will kind of run my free hand over the length of the Roku sword real quick, almost like a point guard kind of stands like straight up, and cast Magic Potency on it, which is a battle spell of mine.
What action cast is that? One action, okay.
That one action.
I will shift forward with a step, and in part of that shift, go to flurry of blows this archer.
The archer has surrendered. You continue with him?
Yes, I will attempt to kick him at his back into his spine.
All right, go for it.
Actually, do I want to just regular it? Does he have any penalties to armor class based off of surrendering?
No, he's not able to like make any attacks of opportunity since he dropped his bow, but he's not like dropped down to the ground or anything. All he's really done is raise his hands up. He's
Gotcha.
still able to dodge.
First attack.
That will hit him. And with that, you either knock him out or kill him at your choice.
I will kill him.
All right, he dies.
I can't make my second attack because that all has to be against the same target with flurry of blows. But I can use my third action to attack the knife man.
Yep.
And I won't take a minus.
Yeah,
10.
you didn't actually make the second attack, so you don't have that one's penalty.
That's pretty nice. Okay, that didn't turn out so bad. All right, I will attack him. Ooh!
Ah.
Ouch. And with that, kill or unconscious.
I will kill this man also, so we are left with one.
All right, how do you do it? What's
just-
this flurious attack look like?
It's just a flying high kick right into the side of the temple.
And out like a light as he just slumps
light.
against the ground.
I am gonna take out one of my other bombs. I'll use so I use an interact to pull it out, and then I throw. Is there like a penalty for throwing something at someone right next to you?
Not inherently, but if they have attacks of opportunity, making a ranged attack next to them activates that.
Okay, that makes sense. I will most likely just be chucking this Tanglefoot bag at this guy anyway, with syntax error.
Anglefoot bag.
Tanglefoot bag.
That's adorable. I love that. Not that hack's adorable, but like, it's a Tanglefoot bag.
It's time to get sticky. I'm just gonna click one of my other bombs because I think it's just the same modifier as throwing one of the other bombs.
Okay. 20 will hit.
All right, and so it will on a hit, it is a minus 10-foot penalty, and he can use 3 actions over however long to get the gooey liquid off of him, as Hack basically is just like reaches into his bag with his left hand and pulls out this little bag and then smashes it up against this dude's shield as the gooey substance kind of flies all over him, and then tries to stab at him with his clawed hand to finish things off. At his...
All right.
An 8, of course.
It's 8 all the way down.
Gerrit.
So
Even with his
How does-
movement slowed, he brings up the shield in time.
how does non-lethal work with like
So
sword
if-
attacks and spell attacks?
if you have a non-lethal weapon, you can just say you knock him out and that's all that you need to do. If you have a lethal style weapon, you announce it prior to rolling to hit and have a -2 on the 2-hit roll. And then if that is what brings him down, he is instead knocked unconscious. Only some spells can be even attempted non-lethally. There is no way to non-lethally disintegrate someone. Telekinetic projectile is the kind of thing that you can non-lethally knock someone out, but you will have the penalty.
And non-lethal is a tag. So like my Dragon Tail attack has the tag non-lethal on it.
Yes.
Then I would like to take a -2 penalty to non-lethally attack this.
Okay.
Close my sheet again. I need to stop doing it.
Yeah, I highly recommend just double-clicking up at the top to minimize it
Yeah.
if you want to close it. But
I
it
keep
takes a little
doing
while to
that.
get in the habit of it.
I guess I keep going back and closing it.
I mean, I always pop mine out and just like have it floating around over here.
All right, so I will take a -1 bonus to this roll, which counteracts the +1 bonus of potency I had. So that's -2. So I'm baking it in.
Net -1.
Net -1.
And with his shield raised, he fends off your attack too, desperate for survival.
This man and his shield. OP.
I swing again.
How does the? Oh, it's only if he gets hit when the shield is up that he could potentially take damage on his shield if he has the feat.
Correct. So he took the shield raise action, which just is +2 AC for the next round. If he is hit, he can then potentially use the shield block action, which is the reduced damage taken on shield as well.
Wait, I have a question. Can I make the sword attack lethal, but the spell attack on it non-lethal?
I will say that you can do that. Yeah.
Okay. I will make a second swing at this man. Lethally.
All right.
And I will
Take a swing.
Add 1 to the bonus. Fuck!
And he parries with his long sword, focused on his defensive stance.
And my spell fizzles.
I do like the idea
Um,
of like going in for that. Like, okay, this attack I'm gonna do lethally because I gotta hit it, and the next one I'll do, and then you just like accidentally kill him, and that like being a part of the thing is like actually kind of cool. Like,
If you
not
aim
even
for the
just a
throat,
meme.
sometimes
Sure.
you just cut it.
You're overexerting yourself to try to land that second hit, so you're a little bit less in control of your movements.
Is that everyone? Right?
That is.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm. All right. His first action is raising that shield. He is keeping this up in front of him
That's fair.
as he swings
Kalat looks
out,
at him and says, "Fair."
swings out towards you, Kalat? Kalat. With just one quick blow before he draws his hand back, protected once more. Though is unable to get past your steadied stance as he steps back up against the wall. You freaks! You freaks! Your turns.
I will. Actually, this time I will. You see, like, Hackett kind of has a like, where the fuck is everything? The adipose, give me the fucking bombs. And the snake like kind of slithers out from underneath his vest with one of the bombs in his hand, and then it will eventually be coming in with another one. Basically, I use my action to command my pet, and it will use both of its actions to pass me Dread Ampule and a Blight Bomb. And I will
That
chuck
is
them.
awesome.
Where the fuck did he put? There's one. Yeah.
That's a hit.
He takes
As finally a blow is landed on him.
He takes a total of 4 mental damage and also has frightened 1 due to the effects of the Dread Ampule.
Oh,
All
just frightened 1, huh?
Just frightened 1.
This frightened pee my pants. What level is that?
This also drops down his AC by 1, among other things.
This is my moment. I spell strike once again, moving to him and make my attack.
At this
Also-
moment, I would like to knock him out and not kill him.
This
So I would also like to make a ranged attack, trying to knock him out before Robert does, or Khalid.
the Dread Ampule also specifically, it kind of like crashes onto them, and instead of like a liquid jump like splashing onto them or anything, it just evaporates immediately into fumes and like causes hallucinations.
It's like Scarecrow fear gassed this man.
Scarecrow fear gas them. Yup.
Oh, jeez. My intention is to move to here, Robert, if you want to move to the other side for flanking or something. And then
It is a
two
Pathfinder
real
character.
quick notes
I
before
prepared it.
anyone moves. 1, 5s. he will have cover, so he'll have +2 to his AC from there. If you spend an action moving first and get a clear line of sight, he will no longer have that.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna move.
And then separately, if at any point 2 of you are actively like competing for things, like one person is trying to kill someone and someone else wants to knock him out first, and like in character you are racing to do the same thing, you two will separately make an initiative check just to see which one happens first. If like OOC you both want to go first.
Okay.
Or are trying to, that is.
Not in particular, but just for the sake of it, this time around, we can see how it goes. Let's do that.
I am actively trying to stop you from killing him. I've already witnessed one person surrendered.
I am also my intention for the turn is to move up to here, say something along the lines of like this one alive, and then attack him non-lethally. That is my intention this turn as well. So should I also participate in this roll off of initiative?
So Robert, are you trying to kill him? Or is everyone all competing to knock him unconscious first?
I think we're all in a competition to knock him out.
Yeah,
Okay.
but just for the sake of trying it.
But were you to actually have different goals here, basically anyone that is trying to do something that is being contested by another person would roll initiative.
Oh, let's do that. So it would be, would this be a perception initiative, or what type of skill check would this be?
I will call it perception initiative for this very moment. That call may change with time and thought.
Identifying what their intention is.
So does Nanite Surge work with this?
Read the text for me real quick.
You stimulate your nanites, forcing your body to temporarily increase its efficiency. You can +2 step bonus to the triggering skill check.
Yep. You may apply that.
Sweet. All right. Then
Also,
I will
I'm
both.
terrible at perception initiative. I rolled really lucky. I have a +2 bonus when I'm trained.
I get +2 to this roll. I can just add the roll or the bonus here. Done. Damn.
All right. So Kevin's actions would be the first to resolve.
Beat him up, Kevin.
You've used one action just to move. Then with that throw, even with his lowered guard from the fear, he brings his shield up, angling it to the left as he crouches slightly, allowing it to cover more of his body and parry the blow.
He's
Does
doing
he
the wibble
whisper?
wobble.
For my last
And a very
action,
victorious
right,
amount.
Does what? Sorry, Robert.
I was gonna say, does he whisper in a very victorious chant? Shield wall.
Shield wall.
It's more of a oh shit.
Oh shit!
What'd you say,
wall.
Kevin?
Yeah, I use my second action to try and trip. Or my third action, sorry.
Third action. Yep. So this will be so this is an athletics roll rather than a normal attack roll.
I forgot, that's right.
And it will have a -5 to it since it is your second attack action.
Okay.
So that is going to be a 7. That is going to fail, I'm afraid.
The club shifts around in the dirt beneath him.
All right, and Wave, your actions would go next.
All right. I stride forward and say, "This one alive," and then I attack him with flurry of blows.
Take 2 swings.
1.
That's a hit.
We did it! A bonker for 11.
He brings up his shield, absorbing part of the blow, though still the force of it just rattles through him. He reduces the damage, but is still struck.
I kicked through his dang shield with my dragon kicks. Is he still alive?
Yes, he is still standing.
Second attack. Oh, that's probably a miss.
And with that one, he fends off your assault.
Rude.
That was 2 actions, I believe.
That's all 3. No,
Move,
there is only 2.
flurry of blows.
Yeah. I don't really want to attack him again.
I believe.
I mean, all right, fine. I kick him for the third time.
-1. That is a miss.
Oh, good.
We
I
were
didn't think
confused.
Yeah, I don't really have any other actions to take anyway, so that's fine.
And Robert,
Yep.
yours.
All right. Spell strike into telekinetic projectile up behind this man, and I shall swing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't close the page this time. Go me. We're learning.
Nice.
Nice.
And this is also flanking, so I'll add the 2, and that gives
Finish him
me
off.
a crit miss.
Shoot.
As he spins around to you, bringing the shield up right after parrying the kick.
That plus 10 ain't bad though.
What an asshole.
That's my turn. That's all
Oh.
3.
All right.
Yeah.
Ryan, did you use all 3 actions?
I do have one more action. So as Hack, like he gets the second bomb from the from the snake and looks up and he's like, alive, but I'm hungry. I want some blood, and tries to demoralize him.
All right, roll a check.
Nice.
Where the heck is intimidation? Intimidation.
With fear already gripping his mind, this seems to set in further, as just he seems near panic, though clearly has nowhere to run, especially slowed down by the sticky slime over him.
So how does that work? Like, what did that make a check against?
So you've got a DC for Fortitude, Reflex, and Will that is just 10 plus whatever your bonus is. That is an intimidation against Will DC.
Oh, okay.
So he has 17 or less Will DC.
His
His
name
turn.
isn't even Will.
He raises his shield.
Quivering in his boots.
Attempts to just flee, moving 15 feet because he is slowed. His
Thank
third
goodness.
action, another 15 feet.
Oh, boo.
How does frightened 1 work, by the way?
He has a -1 to all rolls that involve a d20 on either side, basically.
I see.
So all of his attacks and dice are -1 to them. His saving throw DCs, if he's a spellcaster, have -1. His AC and saving throws all have -1. If a
Also-
d20 is in play on either side, it's -1 to his side of it.
Okay.
In that situation, does that progress his frightened condition, or does that just like he's frightened 1 and just like frightened 1?
So as written, it does not do anything.
Got you.
I have extended it around. Normally, like you calm down over time, and at the end of all of your turns, unless there's a specific thing preventing you from doing this, you reduce the level of your frightened by 1. He didn't for his turn
Okay.
because of your intimidate.
Got you.
But with that, it is back to you guys again. If you are still competing, you will go in the same order. Otherwise, you're back to group initiative.
I don't really.
My intent is to move forward and strike at him.
Yep, same.
He's too far away from me
I
now,
will-
so I just recall my class.
I will also come to attempt the non-lethal strikings.
Yep. I
All
moved
right.
to this section to cut him off. That's my
I'll
first
move
action.
to here, I guess, or here.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Can you move that far, Colin? With the non-Euclidean?
I'm using 2 actions to move.
Oh,
I had to no matter what, because I only have 20 move speed.
yep.
That's fair.
Also, just as a note, attacking around the corner will give cover, so you're flanking, so it completely cancels it out. But just as a note, that is a thing.
We can
If
move
I was
25,
standing,
right?
if I was standing here, could he move in between me and the corner?
Not without some sort of like check to tumble through you, but he could do
Okay.
that even if you were fully in the way.
Okay, then this is what it looks like then.
That
Okay.
works.
My move.
Please.
Yeah.
This is-
you can,
this is
you can move
embarrassing.
25 feet for 1 action.
This is embarrassing for all of us. I swing at him again.
Take the swing.
As I have once again closed my Ah,
And despite his panicked form, he clearly had a lot of defensive training and blocks your blow.
Lord.
please. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I've got another attack, but I'm gonna wait for others to make that. I had
All
my
right,
chance.
I'm gonna flurry of blows, and yeah, you go ahead. Ooh, stabby bits.
That's a -2 on top of that, so that's a 16 total, right? Because if I'm doing non-lethal.
Yeah, it gives you a -2, and that is a miss.
Frick. All right. Oh, hey!
It's already
That's a
non-lethal.
hit right there.
That's what the monk is here for.
He brings up his shield once more, and is this a kicker with your staff?
It's all my kicks are with my staff. Like, imagine if you had like the staff like pointed down and like almost like following with the heel of your foot. So they're all like combo attacks.
Mhm.
Just like the staff would be between my foot and his shield. It's like kick up his shield out of the way and then hit him with another kick.
As you attempt to kick his shield out of the way, he seems to angle it down, really putting his body weight behind it, and instead firmly puts it between your foot and him. And with a heavy crack, the shield splinters, and your blow crashes up through it, shattering it, carrying through to him, and knocking him out cold.
Let's go.
Okay, guys. I peaked in my first attack. I'm sorry.
It was a good start.
That was an impressive one.
That was unfortunate.
Bloody
I just
talk
like
about,
that face actually just represents the amount of dullness that he just experienced throughout the rest of that combat.
talk about bloody unfortunate. I'm the only one who bled here.
Nah, he took an arrow.
I pull the arrow out of my shoulder, toss it aside.
I'm the only one that bled on me, alright?
Your use of diction after the fact works wonders. Hey, Oleg! As I walk off.
You hear the sliding of a wood bar, and a few moments later, the front door opens and he steps back out.
You see any of that?
After just seeing what has occurred, he gives out a sigh of relief. His tension not melting until he takes a first step outside. It's clear he didn't actually watch what has happened.
Good.
Mhm. I pull out my rope and begin to tie this man.
We have a captive. We have a few dead people that I presume you don't want resting in here for very much longer. But for the morning, you're safe.
Hang
And your
him from
contents
the
are
walls.
yours. Oh.
I like this guy.
We can do that. We would be broadcasting your intentions, but I guess if we're here to stay, that is a message we could get behind as I look back to the rest
Oh,
of
the
the
others.
I think it's a good idea.
Very well. So I guess we set about searching the bodies. I have no qualms against this. Does anybody else?
Nope.
Seems fine to me.
The dead are dead.
You
I
gather
mean-
a small collection, which I will be typing up in chat. You may continue.
Oftentimes, like when the dead Azarketi die, when the dead die, their bodies are sent off into the darkness of the ocean. There's no like burial rituals. It's a more of like a Viking send off kind of situation. The dead bodies are just bodies to send back to nature, and their souls are long gone from them anyway.
I come from a more practical realm. Anything these people have might be the key to winning the next battle, and trying to stay alive in Numeria, that was very often the case.
I agree to that as well.
Also, just so I can remember correctly, when I use battle medicine, the target becomes immune to my battle medicine for a day. Does that also do the like hour of immunity to treat wounds on top of that? Because it's like you're doing
No.
a treat wounds. So
Those are totally different. So you can
Okay.
battle medicine, then right after the fight, treat wounds.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be pouty and treat my wounds.
And I level my Roka at like the leader's body, and I very teasingly say, besides, like Wave would agree, these are our bodies now.
This is
It's not a name.
not my fucking day, mate. Hey, Fishman, you want some bandages?
This is probably pretty normal for Gerrit and Wave at this point, and Wave will walk over and present his shoulder.
After this takes about like 20 minutes or so overall. So
Okay.
Kalat
meantime-
will be inspecting the bodies while the medicine is happening or not happening.
Fives,
find
what's
out.
your disposition on dead people and loot?
My position is every lesson is a gift, so dead people just present another chance to do some research and, an opportunity to learn how they died.
That one lost.
Pretty cool. I like that.
So for the most part, I'm mainly focused on these two bodies over here, because I've never seen a dragon kill like that. So I'm just analyzing body wound type stuff, just storing it away for future evidence. Taking pictures,
To on trial.
or not taking pictures, but
Taking
Writing
pictures
down
with your
pictures.
eyes, your
Exceeding.
internal camera.
I'm sketching for my book.
yes.
Specifically, this guy who was killed while he was surrendering.
Uh-oh, that's some damning evidence.
Bit.
Listen, I think he did something to the medicine kit this time around. I can't figure it out. Maybe it's the Drake scales. We'll wait for that to wear off a bit.
Also, after like liberating them of their possessions, which I'm surreptitiously just like tossing in front of the wagon spoke here, I will also begin once Fives is like done with his sort of pseudo investigation. I probably do this to the bandit leader first, and then move on to the ones that he's done investigating. I will start hanging them from the walls. I would ask Oleg for rope if he has it.
Oleg, get some rope and helps with this task.
Okay.
I'm done with them, so.
That is the collective loot from all of them combined. As a quick note, the alchemist fire and the amulet were both on this man, the one who seemed to be leading them.
Was the scale mail as well?
No, that was on the tough boy.
Oh, okay, I see. He was so
Nice.
equipped.
He was.
There's also
jacked,
one
dude.
broken shield. I did not add that to the list.
This area as like a trading hub is something where like if we collect loot like this, right? This is where we would kind of like stockpile it to ship back to be sold, right?
Yes.
Are
I-
goods like longbows and short swords and stuff like that from bandits sellable goods?
Yes, they will be worn. They will sell at half value.
Okay.
Could I use crafting to repair the shield?
Yes. It is a what's the
I have a
exact term?
repair kit.
I would like to hold on to the amulet as a clue for my investigation.
It is
If
in the shape of a
everybody's okay
stag's
with that.
head.
Wooden shield.
I have no qualms over you taking any loot that you wish.
Absolutely.
The only thing I would say is that if it's clearly magical, then we would probably want to have some way to investigate it, if that's
Mhm.
something that can even be done. But if it's not magical, then like do as you wish.
How does do I have to use like a detect magic cantrip in order to do that, or can I use Arcana to discover if it's magical?
Doesn't Gerrit have detect magic innately?
No, I do not.
Oh, you
Last
okay.
character.
Last character, got it.
Basically, the way detect magic works in TUI is you just basically get like a quick pulse, and it is a binary answer of yes, no, there is magic around you in 30 feet, or there is not magic around you in 30 feet.
Mhm.
With the caveat that you can exclude anything you want that you know about. So like you can intentionally ignore your magic sword so it doesn't just ping yes every single time, for instance.
Doesn't tell
but
you
like,
where or what type or anything
Yep.
like that until you cast it at higher levels, I think.
I don't think detect magic gets more specific, but I
I was
could
just
be off
watching a
on that.
NoNet video. There's like some way to like cast higher, like some form of enhanced detect magic where like the next tier up like
Mhm.
tells you what school of magic it's from. But I don't know
Yeah,
what the,
that is
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It learns schools.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get the source of whatever the highest level magic is.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I actually just have it here.
It'll be
it's
like-
not prepped, but
It'll
I
be
have
like it'll be like, oh yeah, it's like the highest level magic in this area is abjuration. Luckily, you know this is probably the only magic thing in here.
Read Aura is basically a more specific version. You target it on one item or one object, and you can tell if it is magical, and if it is, you learn the school of it.
How do you identify magic
Uh,
items in Pathfinder?
I believe it is, if I remember correctly, it's under skills.
Yes, there is a
Arcana identify magic.
Yeah,
There it
There's an
is.
action
And
that
you,
can
you have to
take.
be trained in Arcana, which I am.
Nice.
Nice.
And as a quick note, it is under Arcana, Nature, Occultism, and Religion.
Oh,
It's something that is just like a generic +1 potency sword. Sort of imbues varied magic. It's common magic. Any of them could make the check. If it is like a cleric's magical holy symbol that enhances their connection with the gods, only religion can be used to identify that particular item.
I see.
Interesting.
So stuff like
some are general,
read
some
or
aren't.
combined with it would be a pretty strong combination, huh?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. I would take the necklace to Kalat and be like, "Are you getting anything from this?"
You are the
I don't
magical
have-
man in the party.
Yeah, it's true. I actually didn't know that distinction. Dimmer, would you be okay if I swapped out Detect Magic for Read Aura?
Totally fine.
Okay. Then I don't. So I'll go back into character. I don't have the aura reading capabilities prepared right now. I could do that, but I could just sit down and see if it's something of arcane magic, and then maybe on the morrow we can determine if it's something other than that.
In the meantime, I need to investigate to see what this guy knows about the Stag Lord when he wakes up.
You do seem particularly equipped for that.
Gerrit kind of flumps down in his chair after the 10 minutes failed healing himself and the 10 minutes failed healing Wave. Hack seems to be like growing in impatientness, and then kind of like slumps over a little bit, and Gerrit's like, "Oh, did he ruin any of my supplies?"
Yes.
Wave comes over and sits down next to Gerrit. I didn't see anything.
Why was he using the toilet paper instead of the bandages?
Oof.
Is that a problem
I should
for later?
I really should label these. Well, as long as everyone's all right.
Wave nods and just hangs out next to Gerrit for now.
Can I roll Arcana to attempt to identify the Stag Lord necklace? Or identify magic.
You can declare that you are doing that, but it is I that roll a secret roll. Basically, if you crit fail and you misidentify it, you don't know that you crit failed and misidentified it because you see a big old red 1 on your screen.
Fair enough.
Also, I don't recall if you were here at the time I was going over the quick reference. I put everyone's stats on there, at least at the time. You did not have a name or AC, so those are not on there for you. But these are basically the 95% of the time I need to make a private roll. This is all the info that I have on it. So as you level up and get things that might change these values, you have the ability to edit this. This is where I can really quickly just go and see the number I need rather than go into everyone's sheet.
Okay, cool. That
So actually, Fives would be really good at determining if this is like an occult item too, because he's the only one trained in occultism.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
wait, so is Fives an expert in Arcana?
The Magic Crimes Division.
He is
Ah.
trained, but with 18 int.
Oh, he's got
He's
intelligence.
a
Okay.
big smart boy.
He's a smart boy. I thought I was the smart one, not the
Nope.
only smart one. It would seem.
Smart
I thought
one.
I was the strong one. I'm not the only strong one, so it seems.
We're all smart and strong and beautiful. It's fine.
But
True.
you do not identify anything with this item as you're looking it over.
Okay.
To the
Awesome.
best of your knowledge, it is a well-made and looks rather valuable just for its actual value, but it's nothing but an amulet.
Okay. I conclude as much. Seems mundane to me. And I hand the item back over. So we wouldn't detect anything magical about it if we, for example, did an Arcana identify magic on it and it was religious based.
Correct. Really,
Okay.
the way you are intended to know that it's magic at all is through magic. This is
Okay.
this is more aimed at narrowing down exactly what it is than the original identification of it, if that makes sense.
Yep, fair enough.
So we're kind of doing the like, we're D&D players, so we have an idea that random amulets on bandits might maybe be magical. So let's check. Whereas like our characters might not actually do that. They would probably use magic to check to see if it was magic, and then go from there.
Makes sense.
Is
That's
that
a fair
correct?
assessment. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That makes sense.
I will begin preparing Read Aura for tomorrow.
Gerrit probably moves to collect the alchemist fire. Is there a way that can I derive formulas from an object, or is that something? I'm not 100%
yes.
sure how that works.
I don't know exactly how it works off top of head. There is a way that you are able to do this if you're working with foreign objects. It may or may not be dangerous. Experimentations with alchemist fire, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think that really matters too much to Gerrit. If I were to wager a guess.
If I know you mentioned it earlier, I actually haven't learned yet, but I certainly could. I am kind of like swirling the alchemist fire in the containers that they have.
The sparkly red liquid tempts you.
All right.
Also, one other bit of loot is the 4 horses.
Yeah.
All waiting outside.
That's the loot that I'm in.
That's pretty good.
I'll go. While Gerrit's looking at the alchemist fire, I'm gonna go. The horses. You said they're outside.
Yes.
Okay, I'll open the door. Well, we probably opened the door to hang the bodies outside already, but I'll go out and like investigate the horses. And by investigate meaning like, I don't know, I haven't been around horses a whole lot. Like, how do these things work?
I reckon there's enough blood in
there.
there that you could make a bathtub out of them.
As you approach, they take like a couple curious steps towards you. They seem well acclimated to humanoids, and they just seem to watch you cautiously.
I turn on my lure.
Their gaze immediately shifts up, and 3 of them immediately startle backwards, moving about 10 feet away from you, scattered. As this one takes a small step closer.
I like do the kind of like wave it back and forth to see if it's like paying attention to the lure thing that you do with lures.
Its gaze seems fixed on it, not really even noticing you.
I reach out to like pet the. Oops, I don't mean to move the horse. Sorry.
I pick up
I reach
the
out to like
horse.
pet the side of the horse.
At your touch, its attention focuses back on you once more, but it doesn't go to skitter or flee.
Interesting. That's my interactions for now.
Okay, I have just added all the items here
Nice.
to the party sheet. Is anybody Tevin's probably taking the silver amulet. Are you taking the
I
alchemist
am
fire?
taking the silver amulet.
Yes, I would like to take the
Okay.
alchemist fire. I will
Okay,
mark it
I
down
will
here.
delete both
And-
of these off of.
I would also like to officially use Pursue Elite.
Okay, let me give me a moment to read over that. And also,
Yeah.
just as another quick note with the party loot, important thing is that only one person is editing it at a time. Because if two people open it up, like it doesn't save anything till you hit save. So if one person makes changes and then someone else makes changes and then they both hit save, only one of them happens.
Okay.
Noted.
I'm currently editing the party inventory.
I
will take a dagger.
I don't have any interest in any of the items specifically or anything like that. My only current character equipment upgrade is I eventually want to turn my longbow into the modified crossbow looking bow thing that's just a composite longbow. But I don't actually have enough starting gold to buy a composite longbow from the start.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I have to eventually do to do that is what I'm working towards.
Fives, your pursue a lead. What are you trying? What's your origin point for this?
So the way I read it was I have the amulet, and I could pick a subject of my investigation, which would be the guy who is knocked out currently, so that I get bonus when I try to interrogate him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
I like it.
As mentioned, I too am still new to second edition, so Investigator and Alchemist are both first time I've ever seen the character in play.
That's fair.
Okay. I mean, that's how I read it.
But yeah, I agree with that. It just took me a moment to wrap my brain around it.
Mhm. Also, just for reference for everyone else, bombs and even mutagens, right now I'm pretty strapped for cash as far as some of the crafting stuff goes, but eventually it can get to a point where anyone can drink a mutagen, anyone can use a bomb sort of thing. I do have hypothetically higher chances of hitting with bombs because I'm actually trained in using bombs as one of my weapon trainings, but also my dex is kind of meh, so if someone else actually wants to use a bomb outside of learning how to make it, just let me know.
Maybe placed on the ground and then remote detonated, or
There's a specific feat for that you can take actually.
Oh.
That allows you to set them up as traps with triggers and stuff.
And then as a quick out of game question, I don't remember the exact time that we said. What is our closing time, real world?
I mean, I'm good with what we've done so far. I can save my interrogation for the next session if need be.
I'm totally good to continue. I don't want to just push things forward if people are wrapping up for the night.
I mean, I do have to wrap up sometime within the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, I feel 11:30 might be a good time unless 11 works better for people. I don't.
11:30 is
I'm-
definitely a hard cutoff for me. I wouldn't want to go past 11:30 at any point. Wrapping up sometime in that time frame of 11 to 11:30 is definitely fine.
I mean, I think we're at a good stopping point now if we want to stop. We might be trying to force things if we try and go for another 30 minutes.
We can either call it now or wait for him to wake up and do the interrogation and then close.
Yeah, I guess the
after that scene.
Interrogate him.
Is Robert here? I don't think he
Yes.
responded to that.
Yeah, no,
is that
I was
all
fine.
good with you?
Yep, that's fine.
Jerry
All
kind of leans back and is I kind of want to see fives at work.
Oleg's just steps up, definitely like sort of in the background of the area, but is watching with a bit of curiosity. And as you guys have continued to go through the process of gathering the valuables, hanging the bandits, seeing the horses, and you are able to bring them inside if that's what you would have wanted to do.
Yeah.
Eventually, you see the man begin to stir slightly. As a quick note, is there anything you would have done while unconscious? I assume you've taken his like armor and sword and such, but anything
Yes.
beyond
He
that?
was tied up too.
Okay,
Yeah, I tied him up.
gotcha. So, you eventually just see a slight shift in his position as he gives out a groan,
Can
and
we
after
move
another
him?
2
Can we
seconds,
move
his
him a
eyes
little
open.
bit?
Oh yeah, you can drag him to wherever you would want to be.
I would want him here so I can be behind him.
Okay.
So I assume he's sitting on the floor, and then like once his eyes open, I want to lean over and dangle the amulet in front of him and be like, "Tell me the purpose of this amulet. Where did you get it, and what does it mean?"
Oh, he just gives out a groan as his eyes take a few seconds to actually focus in on the amulet. Well, I don't know.
You're saying you've never seen it before. We got it from your captain.
Haps has it. Cressel's got one too.
Do we know the names of the bandits?
No. Cressel is the only name you've heard so far.
Cressel is the lady that they work for, the tiefling lady.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Where can I find this Cressel?
There's a few seconds hesitation as he sort of glances around, really looking over his situation before he just seems to like slouch down a little more defeated. There's a camp along the Thorn. It's I don't. He seems to be struggling just to like focus and concentrate after just waking up. It's maybe 25 miles from here.
I see.
Gerrit, as he's kind of like watching over this, I would like to do a thing and use my mutagenic flashback for the day.
Okay.
Which
what is
basically,
that?
basically, this is a free action that allows me to redo one of the mutagens that I've used throughout the day. Specifically, he basically just like in like the lingering like bits that are still in his body just like reawaken and like start reactivating, and he keeps his like kind of lax posture, but is mostly using it so that he is better at seeing if this guy is telling the truth or not as he's kind of observing. Because the Drake scales appear, but also his eyes turn into like kind of become slanted, and his eyesight sharpens so he can read people better.
Okay.
Just trying to see if this guy's like being forthright with us, if he's actually acting defeated, or if he's
And as a quick note, basically the parallel from 5e of insight is wrapped up in perception. It too is a secret roll.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that you rolled bad on sense motives.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But
I'll just assume that I got an 8.
What was that?
I'll just assume I got an 8. It's fine.
That's fair. That's fair. I will roll for you. Does anyone else also want to roll for this?
Not me.
I'll be watching because mostly it's pertinent. I have a -1 to my sense motives checks due to me being in an.
Robot.
I have a
Beep, boop.
+1 and you have a -1.
Perfectly balanced.
Well, I guess a -1 to the perception overall. I take a penalty. So because that's based off of perception, so I'd be at plus
Correct.
or whatever.
Is there any way to like substitute stuff like that with like things like diplomacy and stuff? Or are you like, if you want to be a good diplomat, you kind of need to be able to do both?
It's the latter. It is two sides of a coin, basically.
Okay, interesting.
Diplomacy is how well you can talk and make deals and things like that, but ultimately if you can't tell that the other guy is lying to you across the table, your ability to negotiate only goes so far.
Makes sense.
But
Oh,
Get-
wait. Actually, I will do that perception check because I get a bonus to it.
Gerrit and Fives, both of you get a good feeling about this guy in that he probably doesn't actively want to help you, but he far more than that wants to not die. He doesn't seem to likely have too much undying loyalty to these bandits. If he thinks he might be able to live by telling you the truth, he's gonna. As for Kalat, it's hard to read these people.
Yep.
Fair.
So the actual like trait, by the way, and its name is emotionally unaware. Yep. You find it difficult to understand and express complex emotions. You take a -1 circumstance penalty to diplomacy and performance checks and on perception checks related to sense mode.
That's good.
Yep.
Gerrit kind of relaxes even more as he intentionally was using his reused his mutagen to sharpen his senses for a moment, and then realized that the thought dulling portion of this particular mutagen is kind of oh right, yeah, he seems pretty forthright. You can take it from here.
Like I say, I hope you're telling me the truth. Otherwise,
He gives a quick nod, unable to move other than that.
my friend Gerrit here,
Yeah.
well, let's just say he's a man of many personalities. You met one of them.
No,
Recently.
please. I just want to live.
Well, do you have any other information you think could save your life? Think carefully.
What do you want to know?
About this, what was it? A bandit hideout?
Mm-hmm. They have a camp that's along the Thorn, 25 miles from here.
About this camp, how many bandits are there?
11. He stops for a brief moment with a glance around. 7.
Oof.
Which one is it?
Big oof.
7.
All right. How would you rate their defenses? Are they all as strong as you? Are as skilled as you are with a shield?
Wait, hold on.
That's terrifying.
Give him the little good cop, boost his ego a little bit.
One of them's a fencer, pretty trained with a buckler, but most don't carry them. Don't like the weight.
Right. Well, I think I've gotten all that I need from him. Does anybody else have anything?
What of Cressel herself? What does she use?
Oh, a short halberd and thicker armor. He within his bound hands just sort of taps his now unarmored chest.
She's got an eye for aesthetics.
She's a nightmare. She's cruel, and she will be coming for you. You killed Haps.
Well, Haps died. We don't know who killed Haps.
So
Who's
now
next,
this
by the
is
way?
I walk away out of earshot. I guess still over here. I'd be like, so what do we do with him?
I'll make my way back to from hanging out.
Oh,
with
where
the
are
horses.
you?
He's hanging out with the ponies.
I was hanging out with the horses.
So
We pulled the horses in somewhere, presumably the stable at some point.
Yeah, do you want me to move some of the horses in the stable?
Oh, yeah.
Brian?
Yeah, you all have the
Oops,
ability to
sorry.
move the horses.
Oh,
I
okay.
want this one.
Oh, by
It's
the way,
stuck on
we,
the
we
wall.
have the ability to ride horses everywhere we go now.
This one.
okay. So yeah, I walk out at earshot and I'd be like, what do we do with him?
Wave rider.
Liability. I don't think we can let him go free. And I don't mean to be callous, but I don't know that we have enough resources to feed any extra bodies here.
Hmm.
And
I'm opposed to killing somebody who can be put to work and be useful in some way.
we will not enslave this man.
I didn't say enslave.
We should kill him now. He's a cruel man just like the rest of them.
Hmm.
Kind of with Wave on this one. You said it yourself. If we could put him to work or be useful, but I don't know that maintaining the ability to betray us is a useful trait. And we aren't exactly overflowing with work around here.
I'd say that Oleg and his wife would be put to death rather mercilessly if this man had his way with his group of thugs.
Agreed.
Agreed. It is
Very
a crime, and I produce the writ and I start looking it over. Oh, right here, banditry, punishable by death.
But I will
And I
not
point
kill
to
this
it.
man if we are not all in agreement. Fives.
I will go take a walk, and whatever happens, happens.
May you find berries or something out there to sate your snacking.
Peace of
Just
mind.
don't eat the poisonous ones.
Oh, actually, if you find this one, I'm kind of, just it's small and it's got like red with purple in the center. My arsenic supplies are running low. I apologize.
I actually have no idea what arsenic looks like.
It's like a white powder, actually.
Okay. Out of character, do any of you guys have preferences on who murders this man?
I don't mind doing it. I am looking for a way to be somewhat humane in the coup de grace. I have
Uh-huh.
a few things that could I don't know how that would happen. So could I talk to a person and be like, yo, can you choose to I guess this is more of an action or mechanic. Can you choose to critically fail something if you want? Like if I go to daze him or color spray him to blind him.
Yeah.
I'm curious if any of them I might be too low of level of a monk to really have any kind of idea of this, or it might even be too tied up in something like medicine. But would knowledge of the body be a useful tool for killing this guy quickly? I'm
Yeah,
not I'm not trained in medicine or anything, so if it's a medical related thing, I would not. be
I
very
would
good at it.
say medicine would cover that, but I also think that it's a fair play of monks. They've got even at low level, pressure point fighting is a thing. You'd have at least a working knowledge of humane lethal areas.
We've actually, yeah. Now that I'm literally looking at or thinking about my life, and I'm like, man, all the ways that I would put someone down are so brutal. Oh wait, I'm literally a doctor. That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't relish in it, but I can do it.
Are you in characters having this debate and such?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
out of
sure.
earshot.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
moved out of
definitely.
earshot, and
Oleg steps over into the huddle as well, talking in a similar whisper. I can hang him up with the others.
Actually, your town currently, it's your sense of justice. If you wish to hang him by the crimes he's committed, I support this.
What he'd get anywhere else.
Seems just to me.
It does say by sword or rope on the writ.
Can I attempt to make sure that the noose is tied properly for a fast death as opposed to a strangling one?
I think Wave hesitates at first, but eventually, shortly after, complies. Like, yeah, that seems right. Seems fine.
Oleg, as he's tying the noose, it doesn't seem like intentional malicious, just lack of noose making expertise. But you are able to correct it into a quick death.
That's good. That was my worry, was that either of those, but same end result.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the
if we
first
prefer-
group of bandits weighing on our conscience for the rest of the.
If we prefer an electric chair, I do have electricity.
Let's just all right, Ryan constructs the chair and Robert supplies electricity and we just we just need to like carry around a giant guillotine with us everywhere.
Yeah, there we go. Put him to the blade.
If Fives comes walking back in the middle of chair assembly, come back in like an hour, dude.
Does anyone in any way stop the described events from occurring?
Not I.
Nope.
This is a just death for banditry.
Once he sees that the group coming towards him, a noose in hand, he just starts shouting, "No! Spare me! I will do anything! I will return to Rostov!"
I non-lethally attempt to daze him.
With his panicked state and barely even conscious, he knocks out. He is knocked out. Also, maybe you said that because you already knew that, but daze specifically has the non-lethal trait, so it can do that with no penalties.
Sweet.
Cool.
Non-lethally daze him.
But with that,
You can-
Oleg and the rest of you bring him to the wall, tie his neck, and over he goes.
What a way to end the session, guys!
This is where we will end the session.
Congratulations,
Never
your
the
first
way
hanging.
Hey, listen, that was probably one of the most thoughtful, like, hey, do we kill people conversations that I've had in a while.
Yeah, that was not bad.
At the end of
Hey,
the
Fives,
day.
we got rid of the extra bodies in the fort while you were gone.
Yeah, as Fives walks back, there's just one more neck hanging from the walls. Who knows what happened to the fourth bandit?
Also, Doomer's reaction made me realize, like, how brutal mutagenic flashback, like, actually kind of is. Like, just, like, the drug has left your system, but you're just willing it back into your system.
Like, it's terrifying to see someone, like, drink a potion and, like, Hulk out. But there's something else to just seeing them do that again without drinking the potion. And just knowing that it's, like, it's in them.
Well, witnesses were put down. Most of them.
Hope we don't get lost.
One quick piece of feedback I would ask you guys for is initial very first thoughts on the group initiative. Was that confusing? Was that cool? Did you like that? Did you not like that? Do you want to try it again before we even think about it?
I definitely down to try it some more.
Mhm.
I have mixed initial reactions to it because there's a lot of stuff that's pretty cool about it, but I'm a little hesitant about the like kind of like clamoring over each other to get actions. Feels a little socially awkward.
Yeah, I think
So
that
I was like, I didn't know when to speak up and like, I'm gonna take my turn
Yeah.
now.
I think that there's definitely situations where like that plays out really coolly, and I think that this was like definitely on the better end of like possibilities for that situation. I do like personally tend towards like I'm excited, it's my turn, I'm gonna do the things now.
Yeah. It also can become really power gamey very quick. I
Yeah.
like the idea that you can strategize in it, for sure. Like, hey, cover the flank sort of thing. But I do think that it might. Yeah, there's just more like there's more room for error in the sense of like social for it.
I do think it adds the ability to have some cooler narrative moments in combat though.
Yeah.
Because we can do things like
For sure.
you ambushing them and
attacks.
closing the doors behind them all at the same time kind of thing. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I'd be
Couple
willing to
quick
give it
thoughts.
another
Go ahead.
attempt. But
Couple quick thoughts, especially if we play with webcams next time. I do think that helps a lot with the social awkwardness of talking over people and like jumping in.
Yeah.
Because just getting the the non-verbal cues back, like it won't remove that, but I do think it helps with that. As does I think just time.
yeah.
Yeah. How does surprise work without that system though? So like we had surprise, and we all roll initiative.
I was kind of just tinkering around with it. As written, there just is not surprise in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It does not exist. You just roll initiative normally. If he rolls higher than you, he stabs you before you get to go.
That makes sense,
Oh.
right? Because initiative's perception based. So the initiative is like you noticing that it's getting ready to go down, I guess.
And we would be making stealth initiative rolls versus their perception initiative. So
Yeah.
if we just weren't hidden.
But I have mixed feelings about that though, because like generally your stealth and perception will be about equal. Like some characters one will be higher, some characters the other will be higher.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels weird to me that like specifically planning an ambush on average helps you none versus just standing in the open road and says, let us fight.
I'm at thee.
Yeah, I kind of agree about that. That seems weird.
So yeah, I don't have like a super like this is the system, this is what we're doing going forward. I've got a couple different like brewing ideas that I'm kind of working with, and honestly, we'll probably just sort of try a few, see how it works.
Mm-hmm.
My current kind of leading one is basically tiers of surprise rounds, because there's a difference between like someone that is not even like they are on their way to the market to buy 2 potatoes and suddenly someone stabs them in the back. Like that is a higher level of surprise than a military unit going into hostile land on guard, cautious, but just didn't happen to see someone until they attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are 2 different tiers. So sort of like in my mind, there might be a quick surprise round. Like maybe you have a surprise round that isn't a strong surprise. So you guys all automatically go first, but only have 1 action, and then it goes to normal initiative, which may be you going with your normal turn again, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or with a bigger surprise, maybe it's 2 actions in that first round. I don't know. I'm figuring it out.
Sounds good.
There was something that I had just seen when I was clicking through actions. That there's something that's called like be on guard or something, where basically you gain like you're walking and you're traveling, but you're on guard and you start combat with your shield raised, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. There's downtime actions. You can basically like pick a role. Basically, like maybe one person is tracking. One person is scouting, which gives everyone +1 to initiative. One person is on guard, which means they have a raised shield. And one person is moving quietly, so they are attempting to start hidden in the fight if terrain permits.
Cool. That's neat.
So the one feedback that I was going to have with the group round was that I really did enjoy the situation where it was like a race between 3 of us to try and do the same thing. Because generally you would know what order people are going to go in, so you know, okay, Robert's going to go before me, so there's no point in trying to do this.
Hmm.
I didn't think that.
I did enjoy that. Like, the only other option I could see to solve that and keep the group, or have both options and keep the group round, is if we just rolled initiative during every group round, so we wouldn't know what order we go in.
And that's one of those things where, like, if it was a video game, I would be very down for that.
Yeah.
But with it being, especially on my end, like, I would be rolling
Yeah.
4d20, referencing 4 character sheets,
Yep.
manually adding the bonuses in. It's a lot of real world seconds that do slow down a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely think we should try it again, though.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
it's worth at least doing it at least one more time.
Yeah, and we'll have the cameras going next time, and we'll be a little bit more familiar with the system next time. So.
Yeah, that's also just like, no matter what system we use, normal, group, whatever, it's gonna get faster next session, and it's gonna get faster than that the session after that.
And this wasn't too long of a combat. Like, this was right in my like comfort zone of like, yeah, that's a good little combat.
Yeah.
It could have been like half as long if we just hit a shield user.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the whole chasing the last guy down. Okay, assuming he died, then my statement is relevant.
Oh,
Ponky.
Hold it together, and we had to destroy his shield before we could kill him.
All right,
Neat.
It worked out. Go.
Yep.
that was pretty fun. Thank you
Thanks
so much for
for-
DMing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
thank you all for playing.
We're back in 2 weeks from now.
Yeet.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now.
Let's see
yeah.
y'all then.
Bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
See you guys.
So that's gonna be it. This is gonna be going up on YouTube. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be splitting it up into episodes or if we're just gonna be uploading it as one big thing. But that's it for today. We're gonna be back in 2 weeks with this D&D or this Pathfinder game. And we're gonna be every other week on Wednesdays. I'm gonna be streaming here and then uploading the videos to YouTube. Also streaming over at Texas Deviant. He'll be streaming his perspective as well. I'll maybe work on some like layout stuff to see if we can get their cameras in here next week as we go through that. But Pathfinder seems super cool. I'm gonna go ahead and send everybody over. Probably gonna send everyone over to our guy Snacker, I feel like. He has been doing the affiliate thing. Send everybody over there. Thank you for hanging out if you hung out, and if you didn't, thank you for hanging out anyway. See you guys around town.